Ooh, what's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
And this is the Nerdy.
The Wordy.
The Book Club. Couple days late. Sorry about that, y'all.
Yeah. Sorry, it's a rough time.
It was. It was like the Friday morning of book club. And
Yep.
Clarus woke up, went to bed fine.
Yeah?
Like, so fine. And
All
then
good.
woke up at like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So sick. It was so bizarre.
Yeah. It was not good. It's not a good time.
Yeah,
I do not recommend.
It came so out of nowhere.
Yeah. I was like, I felt totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was so weird because we went out for like a nice dinner Thursday night. Clarus and I haven't been on a date night in a minute.
Yeah.
And we had the same thing.
Yeah.
So it was like a weird. I felt great. I felt bad. I felt bad because I felt great.
No, I don't know what it was. Honestly, I think I stressed myself out into being sick.
Yeah.
Like, because I it did not feel like a bug. I was like, I had no other symptoms.
Yeah.
Like, if I get the flu, I usually can tell or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was so weird. So sorry that book club was
So
moved.
thank you to everyone who is joining us here for a Sunday book club.
Sunday book club.
The final book club of April. The only book club of April. We won't be back until May. And
Crazy.
things are going to look a little different.
Yeah.
Y'all, we're making some changes.
Yeah. We're kind of being forced to a little bit. For those of you who don't know how YouTube works, YouTube gets real saucy if it thinks your content is too diverse.
Yeah.
And we've had several people now tell us, like, yeah, we don't never see videos in the recommendeds anymore and stuff, even though...
We've also had YouTube tell us they don't like how we do things.
Yeah.
Not, like, explicitly, but, like, through hints in the creator side of YouTube. Being like, this content isn't what your people are here for.
Yeah. We're like, okay... All right, if we don't want the channel to die, we're going to have to separate things a little bit. So, in May, Book Club will be moving to the Nerdy Wordy Book Club YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It seems like the only solution to this at the moment. Arzu, thank you for 5 gifted
Arzu, thank you.
Thank you so much.
That's so kind of you.
You can now go watch the reaction to the first chapter of Mistborn Secret History.
Yes, yeah.
That was a wild ride.
Mm-hmm.
Insanity. Yeah.
So this will be moving to the Nerdy Wordy Book Club channel.
Yeah.
Just to lay out how that is going to look. The reason why we didn't do that a while ago was that we were in a position where we didn't want to have memberships on that channel as well. And we didn't want to make it so that it made it seem like we were asking people to give us more money in new places.
Yeah. Let me get the link, actually.
And so here's what we're going to do. Also, y'all, Trump dropped tariffs this week that might tank the global economy, and belts are going to get tighter. I am under the impression that a lot of people are going to cut YouTubers out of their budgets first. Which is understandable.
Yeah.
And so here is the way that we want to run this to hopefully make it so that it doesn't seem like we're being greedy, but also maybe keeps us afloat through this.
Yeah, we are not trying to separate things so that you have to have memberships in different places.
So here's how it's going to work. If you would like just audiobook reactions, if that's all you're here for, the Nerdy Wordy Book Club channel will have a memberships tier so that people during the lives can give memberships. That is going to be a $3 membership, like the $3 membership on my Nerdy Daily tier. If you would like to stay a member of the Nerdy Nightly, the memberships on this channel are also going to drop down to $3. If you'd like to be a Nerdy Nightly and Book Club member, like you have been, that combo is going to go up to $6. But you don't have to do both, right?
Yeah.
If you are a patron for $5 a month,
it's the same.
You get everything.
Patreon takes less of a percentage from us anyways.
So basically, when we get money on YouTube, we lose 30% to YouTube. When we get money on Twitch, we lose 50% to Twitch. When we do a Patreon, we lose 8%. And so in order to incentivize people to be patrons, the cheapest way to get all the content is going to be $5 on Patreon. But everything else is going to be a $3 membership across 3 different channels here on YouTube. And when we get back from Japan, that $3 tier on the Nerdy Nightly will... we're going to have content for that. Don't worry. We have a new show coming. There's going to be a lot of fun stuff.
New show.
There is going to be a new show. A new podcast that will be Clarissa and I. And as well as maybe guests. We're working on that. So we are trying to make it so that if you just want the audiobook reactions, there is actually a cheaper way to get that.
Yeah.
And for our lovely gifters, gifting memberships will now be cheaper, obviously, because each membership will be cheaper. So you will be able to gift 10 memberships for $10 more than the price of gifting 5 now.
Wow.
And I think that that's going to be better.
Yeah.
The reality is that YouTube is basically like, hey, we can't push book club because you're a TV and movie reaction channel, and we don't want book club to die because this is our favorite thing that we do.
Yeah.
And so if starting in May, you're like, hey, it seems like you love book club channel more than Nerdy Nightly channel, there's a reason for that.
Yes.
Icky says, will previous chapter reactions move to the new channel? Yes. It will take a minute.
Yeah, it's a lot of videos for us to move over. It's
150 videos.
We will be working on it.
I'm going to go backwards. So the Cosmere will go up there first, and then the Wheel of Time. It will take me a minute, but all chapter reactions will eventually, I'm hoping by the end of May, will be on the Nerdy Wordy Book Club channel. Yes,
sorry this is very complicated, but we're just doing our best to try and play the game, you know?
Yeah.
Blue, thank you so much for that super chat as well. I'm so excited for Japan. We're definitely going to do some reading while we're over there. And
yeah, we're going to cover Fourth Wing.
Yeah.
We're going to start reading Fourth Wing.
Do a little baby book club video on that.
And then when we get back, we're going to be doing more books.
More books.
Yeah. Also, did we say thank you to Arzu? We did, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Arzu, we adore you. Thank you so much.
Seriously, thank you. I did drop the link for the Nerdy Wordy Book Club YouTube channel in the chat. So
yeah. So long story short, moving to the Nerdy Wordy Book Club channel. Go subscribe. We're gonna have more content over there. There's gonna be more like book related shorts, stuff like that. And that's where the show will be starting mid-May. When we come back with a new set.
Yeah, it's going to also look different.
Part of the reason for that is that Clarissa and I have been doing this as like a solo mic podcast for a while. Yeah. And we do know that some of the podcast listeners have been like, hey, your show's great, really love it, would love slightly better audio quality. And for Clarissa and Nerdy to be the same level. And so the goal in May is to build a set for book club where Clarissa and I are on separate mics. And the audio will improve, and the visual will be a bit different. We might have multiple cameras. We're working on it. We want to improve book club because this show is, numbers-wise, slowly dying.
But this show our favorite.
Is the most important thing. And so we're running into that game of we have to save the most important thing. And this is how we think that we can do that because book club is our favorite.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good plan.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty good plan. I am sorry that it does make things a little bit complicated. I think maybe for the first book club we might restream it so that we can like funnel like that people know that it's there, or we'll just push it in Discord or whatever it is.
Or maybe we'll do like a fun like one-off book to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do like a Fourth Wing chat that's restreamed, and then Cosmere will start back up on the other channel. Yeah. Also, Kushil's Chosen. So we have those books in May, which is going to be fun.
Yes, and I know you all want Dungeon Crawler Carl.
I don't know if that's a full book club thing, though.
I don't know. People seem like they want it real bad, and they want to do chapter reactions for it, so...
All right, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, we're here to talk about Mistborn Secret History. Thank you for indulging us in that opening diatribe. TLDR. I'll put a timestamp here in the video. So TLDR, new set, new show, new channel. Nerdy Wordy Book Club is moving in May. Nerdy. So Jimmer says, Nerdy, once you read Dungeon Crawler Carl, you'll get why it's a main book club series. I think the problem with it being a main book club series is that I really do want to finish the Cosmere. Like, I feel like we're in the middle of a project.
Yeah.
That we've been in for... When did we start Mistborn? Was that 2024 or was that 2023?
I think it was a year and a half ago.
Right, because we finished A Memory of Light in, like, January, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's only been, like, a little over a year.
Yeah, okay, yeah. A little over a year.
Talk More with Earth says 23.
Yeah, and it's 2024.
It's 2025. It's April. We're a quarter of the way through 2025.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So, Sir Jimmer says it's 1 Mistborn and 2 Stormlights left.
Because it took us 2 years.
No,
it took us 2 years to do Wheel of Time. So it's been a year and a bit.
But did we start Wheel of Time in 2020?
2021.
So that was 2022 and 2023. Oh, I see. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, no. So what's left in the Cosmere is... okay, actually, this is an important question. I want to answer this first. Light Blinded Fool says, so if I'm on Patreon at Knights of the Nerd Table, there's nothing I have to do except watch book club on the other channel going forward? Cool. Yes.
Correct.
All Knights of the Nerd Table over on Patreon will continue to get everything, including...
Because Patreon takes the smallest cut from us.
From now on, patrons will be getting the edited versions of things early as well, and not just full book reactions. So, right now, if you're a member of Nerdy Daily, you get the edited reactions early, but you get the full reactions on Patreon. From now on, the patrons will get both the edited reactions and the full-length reactions a week early.
When we are able. If a show is dropping...
No, that's only for Nerdy Daily stuff. We don't really post stuff early on Nerdy Nightly as much.
Okay, yeah. Sorry. I thought you were talking about Nerdy Nightly because I was like, we usually watch things as they come out.
No, there are some people who are like, hey, like, if I want to get the full reactions and a week early, I have to have both.
Yeah.
And so I am going to make it easier. And so patrons will get everything. Mm-hmm. And everywhere else, it'll be sort of piecemeal.
Yeah. Okay.
So to finish this off... remaining in the Cosmere, we have Lost Metal, we have Rhythm of War, we have Dawn Shard, we have Alamancer Jack, we have Tress in the Emerald Sea, we have The Sunlit Man, we have Wind and Truth, and we have Yuma and the Paintbrush. I don't think it's called Yuma and the Paintbrush. But there's at least 8 books left.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe we will take a break from Cosmere and do something else.
Yuma and the Nightmare Painter. I was so close.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, same thing.
Okay, guys, considering I haven't read the book.
Not bad.
I was close.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
It's also the one I didn't know was Cosmere, and so when I did my like big buy the Cosmere thing at Barnes & Noble, or Chapters here in Canada, I didn't pick that one up because I didn't know that it was a Cosmere book.
Oops. That's fine. Yeah. Lots of, logistical things to start off this book club.
We wanted to open this by... I have felt our schedule this year has been a little too nuts. And we haven't been live enough, and I feel like we haven't been connecting with the audience in the way that I like. I like y'all a lot. It's enjoyable to talk about books with you.
Yeah.
And I've missed it, and we just kind of over...
We like live streaming. We like hanging out with you guys. I also want Nerdy to stream Stardew Valley so bad.
I want to do a co-op farm with you, though.
Yeah, but I don't know if you can do, like, I don't know how the story stuff works in co-op. I've literally never...
I see.
I have never played co-op. It's not that I am not down.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm not down. I also really want to watch you play Stardew.
Fair.
Because a little bit of lore. I DM'd for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be going up on the Roleplay Relay channel. And it was a Stardew Valley D&D crossover that was so much fun that I'm very, very, very excited for you guys to see.
It was fun. I'm editing it now.
Yeah. I also built my new computer. And I'm really hoping to come back to streaming. Maybe not the first week of May when we get back.
Yeah.
But once we have book club under control, once we have our new show kind of launched, maybe not launched, but once we've put some work into it, that kind of thing, I miss it a lot.
Are you gonna beat Baldur's Gate 3?
Would love to finally beat Baldur's Gate. That honestly would be great.
And so we're gonna be live a lot more the rest of the year.
Yeah,
we miss it. We our priorities felt ever since I did Charlie, our priorities have been all over the place. And we want to fix that because we're not okay.
We've just been trying to keep up.
Yeah.
There have been too many things. Yeah. So it might mean
we did 2 charity shows, one for Critical Role.
Yeah.
It's been a weird 6 months, and I'm falling apart.
Yeah.
Vacation. Just so you guys know, part of the reason why we're like actually doing like full on vacation is I'm so burnt out that I'm nearing the point of wanting to just like delete the YouTube channels.
I'm pretty sure I made myself sick.
Yeah, and so we're gonna go figure out how to have a work-life balance again.
Yeah.
And then we'll be back in May with better content.
Yeah, and if you have any Japan recommendations, please do drop those in the Discord. I know Nerdy's been there, but even no one can see everything. So if you have favorite spots, places, we're there for a full month. We really want to enjoy our time there. So. And
if you've commented on any of the reactions recently by saying, Nerdy, you look tired. You're right.
Yeah.
Mistborn Secret History. We're here.
We are. Do we want to start with Secret History or do we want to start with the questions and the full book recap?
Let's do Secret History so that if people have questions about Secret History, we can do all questions together at the end.
Okay, that is fair. Is the questions channel closed? I'm so sorry. I did not.
Did the mods go through it? I don't know.
I'm so sorry. I've not been on top of shit.
Yeah, this is why we're going on vacation, because we're literally falling apart.
Yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine. Everything is awesome.
Everything is cool when you're part of a team.
Yeah.
Teammates?
Everything is awesome.
All right, Mistborn! Secret History. I forgot to pull this up.
Yeah.
We need notes. Great. Mistborn Secret History is a novella that I thought was going to explain Kelsier's relationship to Mistborn Era 2, but it is mostly just a recap of what happened in Mistborn Era 1 from the perspective of Kelsier doing shit behind the scenes that...
Pretty much, yeah. Blue, Blue, you don't need to open the channel. If people have Secret History questions, they can just drop those in the chat here. Just so you guys don't have to go and approve them and everything.
Yeah, no, don't open it again. We'll be fine. It'll be easier to moderate live. Victor Desana is immediately derailing this with a super chat. Thank you, Victor.
A super duper chat. Thank you so much.
Now that you've read Secret History, fun fact, fans knew Kel was still around since Hero of Ages. There's clues in the book if you look closely, especially with Spook and Vin. Brandon always up front that Kel was dead but still around. Yeah, 100%. Here's the thing.
If you say so.
I completely buy that, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I do think that this book did nothing to improve Mistborn Era 1, and therefore is slightly superfluous to me. Until we get to Kelsier actually doing something in a future book, like this entire novella's purpose is to justify that Kelsier will be alive for future things, and to give us some Cosmere bullshit.
Well, and Mistborn Era 2 that he went and helped those people. Yeah.
I have no problem with that. I wish it had a little bit more of its own thing going on, other than sort of feeling like a greatest hits of Mistborn Era 1. And like the Irie stuff is really interesting.
Oh my god.
Except that it doesn't really go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wish that was this was fun. I enjoyed it. It's also just kind of like, it's interesting, right? Because I listened to the postscript in the audiobook, Brandon Sanderson talking about it.
Being like, I know it's really taboo to bring characters back to life, and I did it anyways.
Well, no, but in the postscript, he's like, this is kind of messy, but it's out there. And I respected that because I was like, yeah, this was kind of messy, and like, not all of it's amazing.
Yeah, but, you know, like you said, I don't think it really improves on Mistborn Era 1, but I also don't really think it takes anything away from it either. It just is like a little extra layer that, like, I was worried that it would, like, change the story in a way that made me enjoy it less, right? Like, I was legitimately like, this is a little dangerous. We're, like... Mistborn Era 1 seems to be fairly beloved across the board. Messing with that story can, you know, might be off-putting to some people, and I was worried it would be off-putting to me. It didn't move the needle.
Yeah, the only part of it that, and let's get into it. So Kelsier dies, and so the thing that I feel the weirdest about is kind of near the beginning. Okay. The Kelsier dies, and Preservation is there to meet him, and he's like, hey, what's up, my guy? I am God, one of, and I am here to help you get somewhere else. And Kelsier's like, rad, let's not do that. You're on the crew now. We are going to do a heist, but the thing we're stealing is more time on Earth, or Scadrial. And Preservation's like, no, we're actually not going to do that. You're going to go there. And Kelsier's like, what's there? And he's like, I don't know, man.
Don't know. Couldn't tell you.
The purpose of this way between is very confusing to me. Because it doesn't really last very long. I'm not sure why they come here for 6 seconds. But they do. And
it's nature.
Nature versus nurture, man. Wild argument.
What?
Don't worry about it. I'm just saying words.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you are.
So, we basically get Kelsier arguing to stay alive and not go to the afterlife to be with Mare. Yeah. And then the book posits that Kelsier's never really understood love. And I feel weird about that element of it. It is the one part of this book that, or this novella, that I don't know that I completely agree with based on how I read Kelsier in Mistborn Era 1.
Is that the book saying that, though, or is that Kelsier saying that?
I think it is the book saying that, right? Like, I think that there is an element of him... I think it should have been harder for him to not move on and be with Mare.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, there was an element of, like, Mare is on the other side of this journey. Yeah. And that is not as enticing an option to Kelsier as I think it would be, given what his plan is. And I understand that for the book to connect with Mistborn Era 1 and to explain that it was Kelsier all along, I get that. Yeah. But Vin, I know that it's Vin at the end that says it. I know that where the book says that about Kelsier's love. I'm saying that this portion where Victor's not saying it makes sense if you take Vin's words as giving back to Kel what he gave to her before he died. It's the same words as in Final Empire. I understand that, but Vin isn't the same person as she was in Final Empire, right? Vin isn't in the same place as she was in Final Empire. I understand that it is a callback to what was said in Final Empire. Yeah. But they're not the same people. Like, it's been years for Vin at this point, right? She's married. She's fought a war alongside her husband. Right. And so there's an element of, just because people keep bringing up that Kelsier's selfish, I understand that he's selfish. I don't think that he's so selfish that he doesn't love Mare.
I don't think that he doesn't love her. I think that, look, if you're in the moment, like, dying... Yeah. In the middle of, like, what you probably perceive to be the most important moment of your life, right? Like, he is trying to change the world. Mm-hmm. And he's trying to do that in part for Mare. In a huge part for himself. But definitely, like, for Mare and for other people. I think, honestly, it would be a little bit, I think it'd be fairly easy actually to get swept up in the, I'm in the middle of a thing right now and all of my friends are currently in danger. Like, in this moment, what more can I do for them? What more can I do here?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I didn't really... I don't know. I kind of got it.
I hear what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
And I don't mind that being what the conclusion that was come to.
You just wanted more of a moment of, like...
I felt like this went too far into Kelsier is a crew leader for comedy. And I wish that this moment had a little bit more weight to it.
Right.
It just sort of... The book was like, hey, this needs to be funny and it needs to start fast.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I was like, this man just died and has an opportunity to go be with the woman he loves. And I think that we can take a moment for that. And the book is like, ha, your name's Fuzz now. We're going to do a heist, see?
Yeah.
And then once we kind of get past that initial thing, the book does get more serious.
Yeah.
It just gets more serious after the moment that I think should have just had a little bit more weight.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I like the rest of this book quite a bit. The opening, I just felt like it was like trying to be quippy in a way that I was like, dude, you did just die. Like, it is okay for this to be a moment.
Yeah.
And for you to acknowledge this a little bit more than I think that the book does.
Yeah.
Because it like feels like it's trying to be funnier.
Yeah.
And Kelsier is like goes into comedy mode really quickly upon his death.
Yeah.
And then once he slows down and like his relationship, weirdly, once he stops trying to be so funny, I like this book a lot more. Because I do think that like Kelsier does start to get some perspective and, oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
And so, yeah, no, I felt like it was like, in order to make the beginning of the novella feel fast and comedic, I felt like Kelsier just popped, Kelsier died and was like, haha, it's time to make jokes and fight God.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
No, I completely understand what you're saying, and I do feel that.
Because his friends are, you're right, his friends are dying. Like, it is very serious.
Yeah, and there's no moment of real, like, serious...
Until he's trapped.
Yeah. No, that's, I get that. Judah, welcome back to the Nerd Table. I never read it as him misunderstanding love. I think he just cares more about his ego and being right and relevant than his relationships with others. Yeah,
But here's the thing. I don't agree with that, Judah, only because the thing that he does right before he dies is save Elend for Vin, right? Like, the lesson we see him learn in Final Empire is that it isn't about his ego as much as it is about the crew. And is that the people that he's put together for the job are as important to the job as what he believes the job is, right?
Right.
The reason why I don't think this novella is necessary at all is because everything Kelsier did to stop the Final Empire and save the world, he did before he died, because it was always about the people he brought together for me. I don't need him to then also be there to remind everyone to keep going every time he shows up in their stories, right? Everything I needed from Kelsier, he had already accomplished when he died. He brought the people together. And at the end of his life, before he sacrificed himself to save a nobleman that he hated, right? For being a noble.
Right.
Because it was for Vin, because he knew that Vin was the future of this. And and that's why I never needed more, because I was like, Kelsier accomplished it. He did what he needed to do. He brought together the crew that saved the world.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean I dislike the novella. Like, I think that there's a lot of fun stuff here.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get into when this actually gets real good. But I disagree with the idea that, like, he cares more about ego and being right and relevant than his relationships, because that is what we saw change in the first book right before he died.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, when people change, like, it's never, like, perfect, like, people are complicated, so I'm like, both things can be true.
Yeah.
And in different moments. Ernest, thank you so much for that super chat. Kelsier living I always took as a consequence of preservation, commanding him to survive. I don't know if investiture was used in that command, so I don't know if he could do anything else but find a way to survive at all cost.
That's interesting.
Okay. I dig that.
No, I do dig that.
Yeah. I never thought about it that way, but I that's really interesting, actually.
And so we get into sort of like the first chase of this book, which is Kelsier chasing life. And he is able to manipulate preservation into fucking up and revealing some very interesting information. Mostly that the Well of Ascension is a place of power. And this is I genuinely need to go read Mistborn Era 1 again because I don't understand this anymore.
Yeah, if it's
I have forgotten some of the rules of the Well of Preservation, or I've forgotten some of the reveals.
Yeah.
But he's able to put together that the Well of Ascension is in Credit Shaw, and so he runs there, and Preservation is like, hey, if you touch that, it is a prison. And you will be stuck. And he's like, that's fine. It will keep me alive longer. And Preservation's like, yeah, I mean, I guess. Sure, bud. Whatever you want.
Yeah.
And so Kelsier touches the butt and is taken away to 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney, Australia.
Jesus Christ.
At this point, there are a lot of things that happens. He is able to ride out on the waves of energy that shoot out from the Well of Ascension and sees things like, hey, Marsh is alive.
Hey, I love that. He's like, damn, right, my brother. We really don't like one another. But I weirdly feel happy he's alive. Like, that's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
They have such an interesting relationship.
Yeah. So the power is... This is where Brandon Sanderson makes the choice that saves this from being dumb. Which is that Kelsier is locked away for the 2 books.
Pretty much, yeah.
No, but it saves it. It is enough that he's bopping around doing stuff for Hero of Ages.
Yeah.
But if he was doing that through the end of this book or through the end of Final Empire and through all of Well of Ascension, like the novella needed, because this was my concern, right? When we were talking about him in Mistborn Era 2, when he shows up in Bands of Mourning, I was like, what the fuck was he? Why didn't he help anybody?
Yeah.
What the fuck was he doing?
Yeah.
If he was alive?
Yeah.
And the novella is like, he wasn't.
Yeah.
We're not like retconning him back into the entire story.
Yeah.
He was slightly aware, and this genuinely saves the novella. Not saves, because it didn't need to be saved. This makes the novella not...
It makes it work for you and not like...
a full greatest
weird...
hits.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if they were like, Kelsier was the mists that Vin used to kill the final ruler, or the Lord Ruler, and Kelsier was... was like in the tent watching Vin and Ellen fuck on the mountain, like it just would have gotten tiresome.
Yeah.
I didn't need the middle of the novella to be, and then Kelsier watched Zane flirt with Vin and was like, fuck this boy.
Yes.
It would have been too much.
That would have been too much. No, you're right.
And so instead, Brandon Sanderson makes the smarter choice, right? Of being like, we are going to see some of the big events, and Kelsier's going to have feelings about them, but he can't actually touch them for like a year and a half in story. And
he has to actually like figure out what's going on for himself, right? Yeah. He is stuck in this room. He's like losing his mind, right? But he has these moments where he can connect with Ruin, and it's terrifying, right? Like there's a danger to it.
Yeah. But
it's his only connection to the outside world. So there's that like the two opposing feelings of like, this is terrifying and I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm also going crazy and I need some outside connection, and preservation doesn't show up that often.
But when he does, super interesting.
Yes,
like
actually.
One of the things that I remember about Mistborn Era 1 is feeling like preservation was good and Ruin was evil. And obviously, like, you learn that that's not really how it works, but it kind of is because Ruin wants everyone to die.
Yeah.
But the moment, one of my favorite moments in Secret History is when so the Lord Ruler dies, spoiler for Mistborn Era 1, and preservation is so upset about it.
Yeah.
Because the Lord Ruler was preserved. He was the most consistent living thing. And I found that perspective.
Preservation's like, you gotta admire him for that, you know?
Well, no, he's like devastated.
Yeah.
He's like, no!
Yeah.
That guy was consistent. That guy was preservation. I thought that was such an interesting way of showing preservation's ideology and personality.
Yeah.
As he's like literally like falling apart. Baki Atak. I really hope I pronounced that properly. Greetings from Turkey, both of you. Big fan. Thank you for joining the Nerds Radiant.
Welcome in.
Baki, I think we're gonna keep Nargs of the Nerd Table here. And we'll do Nerds Radiant over on the Nerdy Wordy Book Club channel. Yeah, those will be the different members.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Baki, thank you so much from Turkey. What's up? I want to see your country one day. Because every one says it's fucking gorgeous.
True.
Yeah. I would love to go to Turkey. But yeah, no, I loved this vision of preservation as being disappointed in the Lord Ruler's death, even though he's a monster.
Yeah.
And it goes to show... Because, okay, we have to get into the biggest reveal of this, right? The shards were people who killed Adonalsium and became demigods.
They each took a little piece for themselves.
And in taking a piece, I guess their personalities all got stuck.
Here's the thing, like,
in one zone.
Who draw the fucking short straw? Like, who's like, why do I get ruined, guys? Like, why? You get cultivation, like that seems really cool, you know? Yeah. Like you like preservation seems alright, but like I get ruined. Like, why am I stuck with the shitty one?
Well, and one of the things I love about it, this is kind of a Critical Role spoiler, kind of. But I'm going to keep it vague enough that it's not... I won't tell you where it's from. But at one point when Brandon Mulligan is DMing, he is speaking as one of the betrayer gods, who are like the evil gods in the Critical universe. And he is, from the perspective of one of those evil gods, talking about how their dominion was or is lies, right? But that when the gods were initially taking dominions, this god chose lies because he knew that someone had to hold dominion over that. Right? That somebody had to. And that the people came to hate him for having the dominion of that. Mm-hmm. But that something has to hold dominion over it. And it was just such an interesting way of viewing the god of this thing that we consider to be negative as not necessarily being a negative force.
Yeah.
And I loved the portrayal of that, right? But it's the same thing here. Like, somebody has to be ruin. And so it's unfortunate for the person that became ruin.
Yeah.
Right? Because I don't think that they were a ruinous person in the beginning.
Yeah.
It does seem, as Judah Canizares points out in this lovely super chat. Thank you, Judah.
Thank you, Judah.
Knowing how the shard's intent corrupt the holder a little more now, would you want to be a shard god in the Cosmere knowing this information? I mean, no, I wouldn't want to be a god ever. I don't want to be immortal.
Yeah, I'm real okay. I'd rather be like a Mistborn or something, like, you know.
Yeah. I don't. I want a solid 80 years and then I want to die and not exist anymore.
Yeah, if I could hit 100 because it's just like a nice round number, that'd be awesome. But that's about it.
I have no desire to live a long life.
Yeah.
Like or like a supernaturally long life.
Yeah.
I think that what makes life valuable is that it ends. Mm-hmm. And I think that immortality would be boring.
Oh God, yeah.
Like, I love you, but there would be a point where you just kind of would be like, I don't know, what could we possibly do?
What more is there?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. No, I don't. Yeah. I've never had a desire to, like, it's such a big, like, fantasy trope is someone trying to find a way to be immortal. And I'm like, man, I have no interest.
Scott, see, life needs things to live. Don't I know it? Don't I know it?
Sure.
It is a Critical Role moment that is so delicious.
Sure.
Just someone trying to be profound and failing.
I love that.
Yeah.
Incredible.
The Pied Piper guy says, my quest for knowledge would power my desire for longevity. I think for a while. I agree with you for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that relationships are the cornerstone of life. And I think that you would either have to have drama in your relationships forever, which is exhausting, or you'd have to have really healthy relationships that you just don't want to end, but that aren't going anywhere. I don't know. I think the problem with immortality is that eventually you would be able to smooth out the problems with life.
What do you mean?
I just think that you... I don't know. I just think that eventually it would become... I think that you would lose the energy to do new things eventually. Yeah. Because at some point, novelty would lose its novelty.
Yeah. I also think that, like, you know, like, if I were able to live longer and, like, help people and, like, solve problems in the world, like, that would be enticing. But as we know from, like, reading these books, at least in the Cosmere, that, like, having a shard doesn't mean that you can just solve problems for people. That's not, like, that's just not how it works, and it's not actually productive.
Look at Hoid, right? Like, he is around, but he doesn't care about anything. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have goals. He just is around to be interested in things.
And speaking of which,
Hoid shows up.
Hoid takes a little raft boat skeleton person thing. I don't know. I think he gave it a name too, which I've forgotten. But that's Kelsier's like, I don't like this guy. I don't want him to touch the well. And so Hoid touches the well. And I guess that's him, like, crossing into Mistborn Era 1?
I don't know what... Yeah.
Yeah?
The rules of...
Spanky, yeah.
No, it's him leaving Mistborn Era 1.
Is it him leaving? Okay.
Yeah, because he's already there.
Because he was only in the first book, right? That's why I was like...
Right, but he leaves But this would have been post first book. So this is him leaving after him and Kelsier have their meeting in the alley. Because I don't think Hoid is in Well of Ascension. I think Hoid comes back in Hero of Ages. Yeah. I don't know how he comes back, because the Well of Ascension's gone then, so there isn't a perpendicularity then?
No, there is. It's just more dangerous? Okay, so the Atium mines were a perpendicularity.
The Pits of Halcyon, yeah.
Yeah, so that was... And that was the best one.
But Kelsier destroyed that one.
But that one was destroyed. Yeah. And so the Well of Ascension is another.
Yeah, but then Vin used that one, so it doesn't exist anymore. So I don't know how Hoid gets back for Hero of Ages. Yeah. Oh, does Vin talk to him in Well of Ascension? I thought she talked to him in Hero of Ages. I'm mixing those up.
I thought it was further along as well. Yeah, okay.
Anyway.
Here's the thing.
Doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't
there for a while.
Matter. The rules for Hoid make no fucking sense.
Hoid does what
And
at
some point they'll make sense. And I cannot wait for the Hoid book where I understand what the fuck is going on.
So what shard do you think Hoid has? Indifference?
No, he doesn't have a shard.
It seems like, I don't know.
No, because he can't have a shard because shards get stuck places.
Okay. Yeah. Biggest thing you need to take from this is Kelsier hates Hoid. Yeah. Yeah, that do be true.
Arzu, yes, he does. Okay, so Hoid... Oh, no, wait. Hoid does go in... Right. Hoid has to be going into Scadrial because he grabs one... There were 2 remaining Mistborn medals.
Yeah.
And he takes one. But he doesn't use it.
How do you know?
Because he's not a Mistborn.
How do you know? Why wouldn't he use it? Just because we don't see him use it doesn't mean he didn't fucking take it.
That's true. I just figured you couldn't be a Knights Radiant and a Mistborn.
I think that they're more closely related than we might think.
Okay. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. The Cosmere stuff, the crossover Cosmere stuff, is a little rough for me.
We're not there yet.
Well, no, but we are, because fucking Kelsier... Okay, so...
No, I mean, like, we don't know how the different powers and different worlds interact with one another and what the crossover is like.
I'm confused because it seems like Kelsier's in Shadesmar, but there's no Shadesmar here. There's no orbs. Instead, it's all mist.
So it just
so different planets have different Shadesmars.
Yes. Yeah. For some reason.
But why? Wouldn't the cognitive realm be consistent?
Maybe the cognitive realm is more volatile on Roshar.
Okay, but here's the problem. The cognitive realm. This is where it gets weird, right? Because the cognitive realm, what makes sense to me is that the cognitive realm would be somewhat shaped by the shards
and the people
who are investitured into the planet.
Yeah.
But that implies that, like...
Look, here's the thing.
The problem is that the powers aren't solely the shards.
If you told me that the cognitive realm was, like, based on the perception of how the people on the planet might view it... I could buy that on Scadrial because the mists exist in the world.
But what the fuck are the Rosharans viewing? Yeah.
Why beads? Is everyone just walking around with anal beads
I'm right with you.
all the time? Where are the beads coming from? Why are we obsessed with balls? Who was the king or the lord that made everybody obsessed with balls? I don't know.
It was a king who had big cojones.
Yeah.
Just massive. You could always see them in his tights.
So it makes sense for me in one instance. But I have no idea what the, like, weird void spheres are. Because they don't seem to exist they don't seem to exist on Roshar.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But, like... I understand their gemstones. I understand their currency. But, like, the currency of Roshar isn't consistent across all countries, is it? Why would it be consistent? That doesn't make much sense. And that would also imply that, like, the one continent on Roshar where people use that currency, I guess it's just so overpowering that everyone on the planet falls in line. But this is where the mists get weird, right? The mists were created when the Lord Ruler did the first Well of Ascension shit, right? And
I don't know if that's when the mists were created. The mists actually seem to be older and more a part of, like, preservation and ruin.
Okay. But still, there are other cultures on the planet of Scadrial outside of the main... outside of Luthadel.
Yeah. And
so do they view the world the same way? The mists are the deepness. Oh, right, the deepness. The bad guy that... Yeah.
Wait, what?
My brain is breaking. It's so much. And now we have the Irie, and we have fucking Chris and Taldane and Nat. Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So we have...
Sorry, what is the deepness? Is that a spoiler?
No, the deepness was the deepness was the thing that the Lord Ruler was fighting. Remember? With the backstory of the first book of Mistborn.
I thought he was fighting Ruin.
No. It was fighting the deepness. Remember in the first book? Hero of Ages.
Yeah.
There's the story of how the deepness was killing everybody.
I figured that was Ruin. I guess I was wrong. I just assumed it was Ruin because Ruin...
I think it came from Ruin, right?
Wants to kill everybody.
I think that the deepness was to ruin what the thrill thing is to Odium.
Okay. So Ruin made the deepness, but it is technically a slightly different thing.
Sure.
Deepness is preservation trying to create allomancers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, but why would preservation try and make allomancers? Because that would be change. Doesn't matter. The myths already existed.
Okay.
So the cognitive realm is different everywhere.
Great. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, guys. A lot of information.
So Kelsier.
Yeah, I'm gonna
learns
audiobook Mistborn Era 1 on our flight to Japan because goddamn.
So Kelsier gets out of the Well of Ascension. And, oh, no, he also learns that Elend is king and is pissed about it. True. Which I think is very funny. Weirdly, at no point does he be like, yo, that makes Vin queen? Well... I guess they just don't have queens?
Yeah, I mean, she does not really. Like, she does her own thing.
Sure, but they're married. Like, she is the queen.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of queens in history who did their own thing.
Yeah.
But they're still the queen. Anyway, we get to the scene, Victor Sana brings it up. We get to the scene where Elend and Vin go down to the Well of Ascension.
Yeah.
And for some reason, preservation stabs Elend. The reason for this is that through watching Ruin's shit and getting comfortable with Ruin, Kelsier is able to realize that Ruin is fucking with them, and preservation's also like he's fucking with them.
Preservation's like if she takes the power and lets it go, that's the trap that lets Ruin free.
Yes.
She can't let it go. She's got to use it, so we have to convince her to use it somehow. And Kelsier is like, okay, let's fucking kill Elend. Fuck that kid.
Yes.
And like gets preservation to stab Elend.
This is one of those moments where this isn't better because it's Kelsier.
Sure,
it's it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And this is one of those moments where I was like, oh no, I was fine with preservation being the one to do this. Like, it didn't need to be Kelsier doing this.
I don't know. I think that like, it is interesting that, like, yeah, preservation has a really hard time killing. It had to be Kelsier to push him over the edge, otherwise it wouldn't have happened.
And I agree with that. I do.
Yeah.
It's not better to me.
I think it makes more sense. Because
really?
I could understand if I'm like on my like second or third reread of this, I'd be like, wait, preservation has to preserve things. How does preservation kill somebody?
I just wasn't. When I was reading the book, Well of Ascension, I wasn't like, wait, but why would preservation attack some? You know what I mean?
No, but you know that people are like the way that people deep dive into these books and these series and these worlds, that is definitely a question that like somebody has had, because I see where it comes from 100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, it again didn't really move the needle for me, but I do understand that somebody was probably like, wait a minute. And, like, when Brandon Sanderson was writing this as well, he's like, can preservation actually kill? No, it's Kelsier, because Brandon Sanderson knew this whole time that Kelsier's story wasn't done. So he was able to see that along. I'm like, I get it. I do. I understand.
100%.
Carrie, welcome back to the Nerds Radiant. Not caught up on my reading. Stop by real quick to say, get well soon. Thank you. Enjoy your trip and see you again in May.
Thank you, Carrie. Appreciate you.
So excited. So excited. We leave in fucking 25 hours.
Yeah. And then we're going to be on a plane for 13 hours.
I have never been on a plane longer than, 5.5
You're going to sleep. You're going to be fine.
Hopefully.
Part of me wants, part of me is like, do I stay up all night and then take an edible and then get on the plane and pass out?
Oh, yeah, definitely eat that before we get to Japan.
I eat it before we get to security.
No, I know, but like, yeah.
Yeah, there's just a part of me that's like, if I pull an all-nighter tonight and then sleep so that when we land, I'm up. There's a part of my brain that's like, that might be a good idea.
Only if you're window seat.
I don't know. I think we're in the middle.
Yeah. We were like, how much is it to fly first class? And we were like,
oh yeah, does anyone have $6,000 so we can upgrade to lie flat seats? If you super chat $6,000 right now, We will take you out for dinner at some point later this year.
Jesus Christ. No, I was like, I was curious. Never been on a flight this long. Never been on a flight this expensive. Was curious. How much is it going to be?
We're selling a private dinner with us for $6,000.
I almost shit myself when I saw the price of a first class flight. I was like, people do that? Like, people have that money?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because our original tickets, that doesn't include the price of the original tickets. That's insane. That's insane. Anyways, it's fine.
RSE King says, if you're flying a Japanese airline, get ready for way better customer service than you're used to, lol. I know. We're flying Air Canada, so it's not going to be great. But
yeah,
Clarice doesn't know how good Japanese airlines are, so that's a bonus.
I don't know what I'm missing.
Because I do, and fuck, man.
We just get really good points.
Yeah.
With Air Canada because of the card and stuff like that. So we were like, okay, we'll do it. So yeah, it is Air Canada.
Chris Pilkington says, why not just do the usual white people plane thing, get blackout drunk? Because I get sick when I drink alcohol.
And I don't really drink.
The last time I flew to Japan, I had, I think, 12 beers. And it got to the point where I had no one next to me, and the stewardess came over and was like, oh, sumimasen. And she started pointing at the seat beside me, and I turned the light on, and there was just a pile of beer cans in the seat next to me, and I started handing them over to her. Everyone else on the plane was asleep, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I was trying to drink myself to sleep, and I couldn't. Oh, it was bad. Yeah. Anyway, Mistborn, secret history. So Kelsier is freed when Vin takes the power. She does end up saving Ellen by shoving that metal in his mouth, turning him into an Allomancer.
Mm-hmm. And preserving him.
Yeah. This is when Kelsier is like, hey, Fuzz, we gotta go. He's also fought Hoid at this point. We gotta go. We gotta go. Who can help? What could possibly help? Preservation is starting to fall apart. The left side of his face is gone. He is literally being consumed by ruin.
Is not well.
It's dope as fuck. A lot of my favorite descriptions in this novella are of how preservation's falling apart. And like even Kelsier is horrified by it, right? Like, yeah. Even Kelsier, after all of this, is still like, oh god.
One of the things that was hilarious to me is that preservation was like, I left clues. 16. That's really important. How could they forget 16? And I'm like, what? Like, what the fuck is 16?
The number of medals.
I know that, but like,
that is the thing that they figure out in the Hero of Ages.
Do they figure out that there's 16 of them?
Yeah.
But they don't know what they are.
That's like the really important, like, that's the reveal that causes the entire series to come to an end.
I mean, preservation is like, how could they forget 16? But I'm like,
oh, yeah, because Kelsier was like, no, there's 10. I found the 11th one.
Yeah. And then, like, I'm like, preservation somehow thinks that the people on this planet know that there are 16 shards somehow. When they don't even know other planets exist. Hilarious. I know it was like seeded with the myths and everything like that. I just thought it was hilarious that preservation was like, how could they forget 16?
Well,
I made it super obvious.
They should know that there's 16 metals, and some of those 16 are alloys that they have not discovered yet. Preservation.
Yeah. Where have you been, my guy? Like,
and so
it's very funny to me.
We get there's also a great moment where Kelsier finds out who dies, and that is it Doxin that dies. It's cursing his name. No, it's not Dox.
Clubs?
Who dies cursing his name? Fuck. If we'd done this
Doxin.
on it was Doxin. I was right. Yeah. If we'd done this on Friday, I would remember things better.
Sorry.
Clubs did also die. I just couldn't remember which one died cursing his name.
Yeah.
And so I really liked that conversation between Preservation.
It was rough.
Yeah, and then just like Kelsier, Kelsier is working so hard for these people.
Yeah.
But he made so many mistakes with them as well. And I appreciate the book doesn't let Kelsier off the hook for that. Mm-hmm. It doesn't just try and like turn him into this messiah figure. It does. I mean, it does do that, but it doesn't just do that. It allows him to remain complicated in his ascension to messiah figure.
Yeah.
And so Kelsier goes on a journey of trying to find help. And so he goes to meet with Chris and Naj.
Preservation leads him on this wild chase.
Chris is the person who writes the essays, I guess.
I wondered if Chris, and I can't remember the physical description, so this is a shot in the fucking dark.
Okay.
Well, actually, maybe that doesn't make sense. At first, I was like, oh, maybe Chris is the person who, danced with Waxillium for, 5 seconds and wanted to study his powers.
I think, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I think we're on the same page.
Oh, okay.
That's where I was about to go.
That seems it would make sense.
I thought that was going to be Yasna.
Oh.
Because she's darker skinned, big boobies. But apparently, like a lot of Mormons, that's just a fetish of Brandon Sanderson's.
Good for him. At least he's open about it.
That's a joke. Brandon, that's a joke. I am simply mocking how much ethnic porn Mormons watch. In Utah. Yeah, it's specifically
really,
in Utah.
Really, really tough to argue with those numbers.
Every year Pornhub puts out stats about what searched where and stuff. Yeah. And it is so funny. It is interesting. It is the only content Pornhub puts out that I can't miss.
Yeah. So that was my first immediate thought. Looks like we might be correct on that. Which is fun. I love that. That worked out.
So, this is where we learn about there being 16 shards, and that they killed Adonalcium.
What is, hey chat, what does Adonalcium mean? What is the definition of that word?
That, I think it's just a name.
Is it just a name?
I don't think it's a real word, is it?
Look, some of the words that the shards are called are actual words. I don't know, I was
I thought the shards were real words. Adonalcium. Watch, this is going to be spoilers.
It's just a name. Don't look it up. It's just a name. It's a fantasy. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I was curious. I was like, oh, maybe that
Adonai is the Hebrew name of God. Yeah.
Oh. My name is also Hebrew.
What?
Yeah.
What part of it?
Ariel means lion of the gods. In Hebrew.
Sure.
Yeah. Fun fact.
Why do the gods have lions?
That I don't know.
Why would it be of the gods in Hebrew though? Hebrew's a monotheistic religion.
I don't know. It's a good question. Lion of the God, maybe? Maybe I'm just adding the S.
Or maybe it's just Lion of God.
Nah, I don't know. If you Google Ariel, I don't know. I saw it in the baby book, okay? I looked at the name definition. It said it was Hebrew.
Hey, Chris Pilkington says, why would people not want lions?
Sure.
Agreed.
Yeah, lions are pretty cool. We got the Lion King out of it, so can't complain about that.
And so the one thing that I did find interesting here is that Kelsier's allomancy doesn't work here, which is fascinating to me because
damn, we have a lot of really smart people in the chat. I can't keep up.
Well, and this is what I find so fascinating, right? You and I are idiots.
Yeah.
We're musical theater morons.
Yeah.
We have somehow cultivated a community of people who are
we're so much smarter than we are, and I'm and probably a theistic religion, Yahweh level. I'm what?
There are entire channels in our Discord that I can't go into. I'm not because I'm not interested, but because the conversation is so far beyond my level of understanding.
Yeah.
The 3D printing Discord, y'all are genius. I 3D print little minis, and I have no idea. Every time I plug in the thing, and I go, hope that works, and sometimes it does.
Yeah, y'all
Rob
are
Ross
really
built
smart.
Fucking robots.
I know.
And then people are I don't know why people watch us. We're the dumbest people in our own Discord. Anyway.
Hey, we figured out who Chris was. That's cool, I guess.
Yeah, but only because if you tell me that
everything is related, I'm gonna try and find strings. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway. So What was I saying? I was saying something. Oh, Allomancy doesn't work here, but Radiance do.
Oh, I just thought it was Kelsier is dead.
Oh, right.
I just assumed Kelsier couldn't use Allomancy at all
I
anymore.
didn't think about that. That's actually right, because he is not... His body isn't here.
Yeah.
He is here as a interesting...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's
so
just
the
that
investiture can't be physically manifested because he didn't bring a physical thing into the space.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. You're smarter than me. I'm literally the dumbest person here.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I'm at the bottom of the fucking pecking order.
You at least know what polytheistic means. And I'm like, that's a word.
When did I say polytheistic?
Didn't you say that?
I said monotheistic.
Sure, that's also a word that I don't know.
But you do, because the opposite of it is polytheistic, and you pulled that.
I read it in chat.
Oh, okay. Polytheistic means that there's multiple gods in your religion, so like Hindu, Greek faith, and then...
If it's not in Civ 5,
monotheistic is single god. So,
great.
The Muslim faith, a certain sects of Christianity, and... Judaism.
Gotcha. All right. Love that for us.
Yeah. And some would argue that the sects of Christianity that are polytheistic aren't actually polytheistic, that they are monotheistic. It depends on how distinctly you draw the lines between the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. But
wait, some people think that like the Holy Spirit is also a god?
There are certain sects of Christianity that treat them as three separate entities, and there are certain sects that treat them as a single entity with three names. And depending on how finely you draw that line is dependent on how you view the religion.
Sure, yeah. Whatever you say.
Yeah.
Love that.
RSC King is like, wars get fought over this. It's true.
That's fun. Real fun.
Yeah.
It goes hard. It sure does.
Yeah, Christians literally kill each other over whether or not you think the Holy Spirit is a separate entity from God or not.
Damn, that's...
They love that shit.
Seems insane.
Yeah. Well, it's a whole thing. Okay, so...
Anyways, can't use Allomancy because he doesn't have a body.
This is where...
Ruin shows up. Ruin's like, hey, bud, what you doing? What the fuck is up? And he's like, you really shouldn't be here, actually. You
know what's crazy? Sweet and Savory says this. We can thank Christian division for Mistborn. That's true. Because without the Christian division, I don't think we would have Mormonism.
And you don't think that Mistborn would be written unless Brandon Sanderson was Mormon. I was about to say Mistborn.
There's a lot of fantasy books that come from Mormonism.
We wouldn't have Twilight.
Yeah, we wouldn't have Twilight.
A tragedy. A true tragedy.
Brandon Sanderson is the second most popular Mormon author.
No, at this point,
by books sold, I do think that that's still true. I want to know. Here, you talk about what happens next. I'm going to find out who sold more books. Okay, but you've got to understand, Twilight is an international movie sensation.
There's only 3 of those books. Brandon Sanderson just has...
There's 5.
Not of the actual...
Yeah, there's 5. There's 5 Stephanie Meyer books now in that series.
What? Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, Breaking Dawn, and then the one where, like, that's Edward's POV? Yeah, but most people didn't read that. I mean, I wouldn't consider that in the same... I guess.
Okay. Stephanie Meyer has sold 160 million books.
Okay.
Just in the Twilight series. I'm not going to look for a large number of that. Brandon Sanderson, number of books sold... Brandon Sanderson, okay.
All right. Lay it down.
Stephanie Meyer has sold...
160 million, you said?
116 million.
16, okay. 116
million. No, sorry, 160 million.
Okay, yeah, okay.
How many books do you think Brandon Sanderson has sold?
Like 200 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got a lot of books.
You think that he beats Stephanie Meyer by 40 million books sold?
Fuck yeah.
That's wild because 40 million is about how many books he sold. Not only has Stephanie Myers sold 160 million books, she has sold over 4 times the number of books Brandon Sanderson has.
I think that has to be a lie.
Stephenie Meyer has sold 4 times as many Twilight books as Brandon Sanderson has sold books. That's crazy.
It's still fantasy. It's not like it's just a straight romance novel. It's a fantasy novel. It's the only reason I read it. There were no vampires in it. It'd be fucking boring as shit.
Oh, and anyway, Addison Moore has the real answer here. You tend to sell a lot more books after you get adapted.
Okay, all right.
If we ever get a Mistborn movie, and that movie does well, Brandon Sanderson will sell 100 billion books.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that really is how it works.
Yeah.
I did not think it would be that separate.
Yeah.
But, like, 160 million books is crazy.
All right. This is why, again, not smart.
No, it's not that you're not smart. I think that we're going off of what we think has higher quality.
Yeah.
I personally find Brandon Sanderson to be a better author than Stephenie Meyer. Yeah. And I don't hate Stephenie Meyer the way other people do. I think there are wild things in those books. The tent cuck scene from, is that the second book? Yeah. Is insane.
Yeah, but
genuinely one of my favorite things I've ever read is Edward getting cucked by Jacob's heat.
But
it's so funny.
The Host is pretty good.
I haven't read The Host.
Oh, you haven't?
No, I don't know that.
Did you watch the movie?
No. I don't know what The Host is.
You should do a baby book club on Stephenie Meyer's The Host.
All right.
Because it's kind of having a weird resurgence right now. People are finding it and being like, oh, wait, damn. This is actually kind of great.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. A Song of Ice and Fire sold 90 million copies. Yeah, because the TV show. Because it's popular, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. It definitely comes down to what's more mainstream because it's on your television.
Anyway. I can't believe she sold 4 times more copies. So then, so we
have a chat with Ruin. Tries to stop Kelsier. And Kelsier's like, fuck you. And he keeps going to find the Eyrie.
At which point he walks in the cognitive realm off the planet.
Definitely
to somewhere.
Not sure on that one.
I don't. It seemed like he managed to walk to another place in the universe somehow.
Yeah.
Right? It seemed like he walked off-world.
Yeah.
Which makes the cognitive realm is a world, because it is, I guess it's not a sphere.
Like, I guess you could technically walk from the cognitive realm in Scadrial to the cognitive realm in Roshar. But
flat. Like, at what point would you suddenly have beads? No, but here's the problem. But here's the problem with that, right?
Yeah.
That implies that what is in between them? Code 76 says it's not to scale to the physical realm, but we know that it is. Because you have to travel, like, water is 1-to-1. You have to travel the same amount of distance in the cognitive realm to get somewhere that you do in the physical realm. We see them do it in Oathbringer.
Yeah, it definitely does take them a while.
Where there's a river in the real world, there's a river in the cognitive realm. So if it's a sphere in the physical realm, it has to be a sphere in the cognitive realm because there is water where there's water and there's land where there's land.
So if there's no people that have the ability to live in space, space doesn't have a cognitive realm. So it means all the planets are mashed together into a landmass because there's no one that can breathe and survive in space between planets.
But that doesn't change the fact that where there's water, where there's water, there's land, and where there's land, there's water.
Yeah.
So you can't just walk. You can't walk straight and get to the end of the planet because the planet is a sphere, and the cognitive realm will continue where there's water. There's going to be land.
But there's points. There's points. There's what do you call them?
Sure, perpendicularities. We don't see Kelsier go through one. He just walks off the planet.
He's also dead. He's not real.
That doesn't matter to me in this case. Fine. He walks off the planet and he finds a fortress somewhere where there are people who have fabrials who are trying to fight.
Little boxes on the hillside, little boxes made of ticky-tacky.
This broke
my
brain. I was like, what is happening? Where? is he?
Maybe he is on the same planet. It's just that he's, like, on the opposite side. Because no one in Mistborn has explored
so the Irie are, like, hanging
own...
out in, like, the south where the masked people live?
Maybe even on a totally other continent.
Well, and okay, maybe that's it.
Do we know what direction he's walking in?
I'm assuming any of them.
Because, like,
He walks off the planet.
Yeah, so basically...
There aren't any directions at that point.
No, if Kelsier starts in, like, North America... And, like, maybe you've got, like, the people from Mistborn Era 2 in Mexico. Maybe he walked the other way and he went to Greenland. You know?
Okay.
Maybe.
Cosmere 6 says, based on the people's concept of the distance, if they can't conceive how big a space is, it's not big in the cognitive realm is? Okay, but here's where that gets really fucked up, right?
So if there's no travel between continents, the space in the cognitive realm is shorter because people can't conceptualize it?
No.
Yeah, that's what that means.
No, because the people who live by the oceans, right, would conceptualize the size of their beaches. And so the cognitive realm would have to frame the oceans by the peoples of different continents' understanding of the space they live around.
For sure, but the shoreline, this conception of the shoreline is going to be different than the conception of the distance between one continent to another. Because if there's nothing living in that space to bring it to the cognitive realm, like, you know, fish don't... There's no mermaids.
But no, but this is the problem.
There are no mermaids.
But fish still would add to the cognitive realm.
Why? I don't think any animals add to it.
No. Everything adds to the cognitive realm.
Why?
Because
fish are not smart enough to even...
But Brandon Sanderson gave everything a soul. Right? And so if...
So you think that, like, sticks add to the cognitive realm?
A stick understands that it is a stick in the cognitive realm. And so it understands its space. It understands where it belongs in the cognitive realm.
Like, the ocean should understand that it's the ocean, and therefore it should have the same amount of space.
Maybe not the ocean, but the things at the bottom of the ocean would.
Well, we don't know what's down there.
The cognitive realm
you can't say there's anything down there.
The cognitive realm isn't built on humans' perception of things. It is everything's perceptions of itself in it.
I thought it was based on the conception of human brains. Of people who have enough self-awareness to know that they are self-aware. Like, I think that, like, maybe dolphins might be smart enough, but I think there's a threshold. Light Mindful, thank you. Welcome back to the Nerds Radiant. I blame flat earthers for Shadesmar being flat. I mean, yeah, fair. That's fair.
Okay, so Talkmar Thor says, imagine the distance from you to London, Ontario, then imagine the distance from you to London, UK. One is much harder to perceive. 100%. 100%. But I don't have to imagine the distance between me and London, UK. I have to understand the distance between me and the house next to my house. And then that person imagines the distance between their house. And so by the time you put the web of everybody's perceptions together, you get a full map.
I mean, yeah, I think our world is far too populated for that to work, for it to be like that. I think that our world is so traveled and explored.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think you can take our world and apply it to a world where they don't even have boats. Like a boat to get across the ocean doesn't exist. They don't know how to get to other continents, right?
Right, but you would... The problem is that... Again, this gets into the issue of my perception being in Luthadel is related to the perception of someone on a different continent's perception. Unless the world is Luthadel continent wrapped by water, then you can't perceive it because nothing lives on the other side of it. Well, but we know there are other places.
Yeah.
And so if anyone exists on the other side, the cognitive realm would have to acknowledge their existence in space somehow. Yeah. It can't just...
But that doesn't mean that the people on either side of the planet can conceptualize what that distance is if they've never traveled it. And so the distance becomes none.
But it can't just become none because then...
Why?
Because because then you end up in a situation where the cognitive realm would be like growing at all times.
Yeah, that makes sense. The more people explore...
It would still have to be a sphere, though.
Why?
Because the cognitive realm would have to acknowledge the connection between the two places in the two minds on either side of the planet somehow. It can't just be that Roshar is here until it isn't. Because no one is conceptualizing...
Isn't space always expanding?
No one is conceptualizing Roshar as being part of Scatriel. Therefore, the cognitive realm can't just make that happen because it's not being conceptualized by anyone.
But they're not part of it. You can just step from one to the other.
Fucking how?
I don't know. I think it works.
Kelsier walks to a palace that's somewhere.
We don't know if it's on the same planet, in the same world.
Is this good content?
I don't know. Chloe, thank you for that super chat. It's not taking individual aspects from what each person knows best. It's an amalgamation of everyone's perception of everything. Yeah. So the more populated a planet... Well, the more populated a planet becomes and the more explored, the more vast the cognitive realm becomes. Like, I think eventually, if you had deep sea diving, the cognitive realm would expand into oceans.
Why would no, the oceans already exist. They're the land masses in the cognitive realm.
Well, on Roshar.
And here.
Yeah, but
because he walks out of the mist onto, like, firm land.
Yeah, and I think that, like, depending on how much of the oceans become explored, like, right now, people only sail on the surfaces of them, right? No one swims, no one dives, there's no diving equipment.
I think people swim.
Sure, but you're not going down past fucking, like, 20 feet, you know what I mean? So it feels shallow, but, like, the deeper that expands, the
harder it gets?
No, I think that it will change in the cognitive realm because people will perceive it as different. Because right now people kind of perceive the ocean as a thing to sail across and not a thing to go explore in any depth.
I don't understand why that would change.
Because as people change their perceptions of what the ocean is and how deep it can go and the possibilities of it, it will change in the cognitive realm. Like, nothing in the cognitive realm is set. Anything can change based on the collective perception of a group of people.
Sure. I still think that water will be hard in the I still think it's going to be flipped.
Well, I wonder if perhaps because the water is hard, I wonder that if in opposition, in keeping with the theme of opposition, that exploring the oceans would actually go up instead of down. What?
But then how do you walk to another planet?
Well, that
I wish it was just perpendicularities. Anyway, Scuff-Andy, think about that super chat. He says, what about space stations? Fuck off.
Wait, what about them?
Just fuck all the way off.
I don't get it.
I don't either. Where does a space station... You can walk to a space station in the cognitive realm. Who needs exit velocity when you can walk to space stations in the cognitive realm?
Yeah, the cognitive realm makes things real easy peasy, which I love. Very simple.
Easy, narratively... fucking impossible for my goddamn brain to wrap itself around. We need to get to questions at some point, so we need to move on.
True.
We meet the Irie. They are people. I don't know, man. They're trying to
steal Preservation's power.
Basically, they want to swoop in as Preservation dies and take the power in the same way that Sazed is going to.
Yeah, and
and the way that Kelsier is also going to.
They have a device that is hidden.
Yes.
They've, like, hidden it somehow.
They have a device that if you break it, it allows you to become connected to the shard at the moment of death so that you can take on the power, because you can only take on the power of the shard if you're connected to the shard.
Is Irie an Aeon?
What do you mean?
An Aeon from Elantris. Is Irie one of the symbols, drawings, letters, whatever the fuck they are? Is that a
I don't remember the
is that a word that we heard? It doesn't matter. Anyways, yeah, they're trying to steal.
Oh yeah, apparently they're Elantrians.
Aeon of Time. Oh. Okay, there you go.
They are old Elantrians. I mean, it makes sense because they're blue, right?
Right. Right.
I just figured that Elantrians weren't the only blue people.
So Elantris really got fucked up. They, like, regressed so fucking hard. Cool. All right.
Wait, no. This is the future of Elantris. Huh? This is, like, future Elantris.
Oh, I thought this was, like, before this main city fell. Would have been my guess.
Oh, I just assumed Elantris takes place before this book in the Cosmere.
No. Well, no. I don't think so. It doesn't seem to be. I don't...
I hate this. My brain. I don't understand when anything is and isn't. Addison Monroe says, or Morse, sorry, they says there aren't the only blue people. There's some on Roshar. Yeah, that's true. There are blue people on Roshar too. Avatar, Fire and Ash, coming to theaters in 2026.
I wish my brain was functioning at 100%, but even then, I still don't think I would.
Holy shit. No, yeah. No, that I feel like that Elantris book takes place in the past. And that when we get to it... Because by the time all of these civilizations meet, they all have to be technologically a little bit more advanced than Elantris was.
But Elantris, like, was super tech advanced and then kind of fell and now has to, like...
No, they were just relying on their powers for everything, right?
But then, I don't know.
I think that that's going to be... It doesn't matter. One of the weird things about Mistborn being era jumping is that it's going to start implying that time moves differently on different planets, even though their cognitive realms are connected, and time is consistent in the cognitive realm to the real world. You know what I mean? On Roshar.
Yeah.
Like, time passes one for one in the cognitive realm, and it's not like the Feywild in D&D,
right,
where time passes differently.
Okay.
We watch time pass consistently between the cognitive realm and Roshar. Right?
Yes.
And so, if... We do. We see that happen.
I don't know. I have no idea. I can't tell.
In the time that Dalinar is being a whiny little baby, while Adolin is in Shadesmar, we watch the time of those be 1-to-1.
Oh yeah, I think that if you're on the same planet between realms.
But the problem is that the cognitive realm is consistent now, and you can get from one part of it to the other by walking.
I don't know if that makes
time across the cognitive realm has to be consistent.
I don't know. I'm not gonna worry about that.
And so Cosmere has a consistent
we're moving
time
on.
Across all Cosmere.
I don't know.
We have a device. It fucking Kelsier steals it. We don't have time to get into it. He follows a guard. He steals the device.
He fucks him up real good. They
have like barriers to stop the fucking somebody to get in, but I didn't know who it was.
I don't know.
What the fuck? What's the word? They're keeping the sentience out, or the no. There's a word that they use. They have wards to keep certain people out, but it doesn't keep Kelsier out because he's not one of those people.
Yeah, I think it's because Kelsier is dead and he's not actually there in a body.
Okay.
Is again my guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
100% sure. This was a wild read, okay?
This was a wild read. So Kelsier goes back, Preservation's like, hey, you gotta go to Fadrix. And he's like, why? And Vin's there. And so Vin is, I think he gets there right when Vin is trapped in the bunker.
Yeah.
And so Kelsier's trying to get to Vin, but Ruin is playing goalkeeper. And so they do that for a while, I guess.
Yeah. Ruin's also fucking around with Listabornis.
Yeah.
And there's that stuff going on.
And so Kelsier learns a little bit of the secrets of Hemalurgy. Ooh, it's bad. Spikes. And it learns that he needs to let them know about that. And so he takes over as Preservation.
Yeah, and Preservation's like, hey, do better. So
Fuzz dies. Kelsier uses the device to become Preservation himself.
Tries to fight Ruin, and it doesn't fucking work because they're they're on par.
Yes. And so he basically is like running around trying to figure out where Ruin's not paying attention. And he overhears Marsh be like, he basically hears Marsh talking to himself. Because so Ruin can talk to people, but Ruin can't hear people. But Kelsier can hear people. And so using the ability to hear people's inner thoughts that Ruin doesn't know about, he understands that Marsh still has part of himself in there.
Yeah.
And so he concocts a plan that basically goes to Levitt, where he is actually there.
Yeah.
When Spooks or when Levitt sees him, and he is like, "Hey, chill the fuck out. You got this, bud." And Levitt is like, "Yeah, I do got this, bud. Let's go." And so he tells Levitt to send the message to Vin on metal, so that Ruin will send Marsh to steal that message, so that Marsh will take that message to Vin, because Marsh is actually Marsh.
Yes.
And so this was all Kelsier's insane plan.
Yeah. And so that's why Marsh rips the earring out of Vin's ear, and she's able to fight off Ruin's influence.
Yes.
You've read the books.
This works. Because Kelsier doesn't make anything happen.
He's just a little bit like...
Yes. Yeah. And all of this, this works because all of this stuff works in Hero of Ages without Kelsier having done anything.
Yeah.
Like, the reason why this doesn't ruin Mistborn Era 1 for me is that now we understand that Kelsier did it, but without Kelsier having done it, all of this stuff still works on its own. Yeah. And I appreciated that. I appreciated that it didn't get in the way of character motivation and stuff and agency in the books. Yeah. Like, Kelsier doesn't tell Marsh to do this. Mm-hmm. Kelsier just hears that Marsh does this, and so he trusts that Marsh will, and Marsh does on his own. Yeah. Yeah. Lots of layers. Yeah. To this. Lots going on. Yeah, so this manages to have Kelsier be present, but not so overpowering that it makes it that it is Kelsier did everything. Yeah. Kelsier did what he did, and everyone else did what they did, and it's like just having another character in that story. Not it kind of sucks when a story goes like, well, actually, all the things that you thought that those characters did, it was actually this person. Yeah. This novella doesn't do that. Yes. It allows Kelsier to be a part of it. Exactly. Yeah. And influence it, but not in super overt ways. Pied Piper Guy says it doesn't ruin, but preserves the greatness of everyone. Yes, exactly. We love to see it. Kelsier gives up the power to Vin, who obviously sacrifices herself. Vin and Ellen die, and they actually get to meet Kelsier in the cognitive realm. Can we just talk about, before we get into that? Yeah. Why was Kelsier able to give up the power? 'Cause maybe you can just do that? Then why didn't preservation do that? Because preservation was losing his mind and was not fully preservation anymore. He was already dead. Sure. Okay. I'm assuming... When Kelsier took the power, it was like, oh, so now Kelsier has to die. But I guess not. Maybe it's because Kelsier is a ghost. So he can't fully hold the power anyway. The answer is always, it's because Kelsier's dead. Yeah. It's because Kelsier's dead, okay? Yeah. So, they have this scene where, we get to see Ellen and Vin see Kelsier on the way to the afterlife. Mm-hmm. It's funny. It's very comedic. I was gonna say, I thought it was beautiful, but... No, it is also beautiful. Yeah. But there's some good jokes in it. There's great moments. A good balance, I think. Seeing Ellen be the more mature of the two of them is very funny to me. Yeah. Like, Ellen grows up so much across those 3 books. Yeah. That Ellen being like, cool, died. Yeah. Afterlife time, let's go. And Kelsier just be like, I don't understand. You know what I mean? Like, they're as they're leaving, Kelsier's like, I don't understand. Yeah. And they're like, oh, no, we're good. We saved the world, Kelsier. And he's like, yeah, but we're not done. And they're like, no, we are, though. We are, actually. What do you mean we're not? What's left? Yeah. And it was so fascinating to watch those characters make such a humble choice. They deserve a vacation. And almost in a way that threw it in Kelsier's face a little bit. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, I knew because of Mistborn Era 2 that Kelsier can't join them. But, like, what does Kelsier have to go back to? You know what? You know what I mean? Like, it's so... But this is where Vin brings up that he never, like, understood love. That's not the exact words that she uses, but...
yeah.
And, yeah. Sazed shows up, takes the powers.
They watch Sazed become Harmony.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Very well done. And they move on. They die. Rashek dies and passes on into the next life. And not Rashek, Ruin.
Okay. I was like, yeah, that happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
Earlier in the book.
Oh, we totally skipped over that. Kelsier gets to talk to Rashek.
Yeah, he does.
And Rashek's like, fuck you.
Pretty much. He's like, you have no idea what you did. You fucking assholes.
You fucking
get
idiot.
Fucked. Yeah.
Jude Kaiser, thank you for that super chat. I like the idea that Fuzz foresaw and planned for this future back when he had his sane mind. Ruin was playing checkers while Fuzz was playing 4D chess. Truly.
Yeah.
Fuzz was more playing dominoes in that he set them all up and then lost his mind, had the mind of a child, and then got to go, woo, as they fell down in front of him.
Yeah.
And, yeah, Kelsier turns to Harmony and is like, hey, bud, is there a way for me to have a body again? And Sazed's like, no. Kelsier's like, thank God he's a bad liar. And that's the end of it. Epilogue. Kelsier goes to Lesabornis, is like, hey, bud, you want to do some shit? And Lesabornis is like, not really, I'm tired.
Yeah.
They gave me a mansion, my guy, and it's like a 2-story house.
Yeah. I love that. He's like, I have too much. It's great. Yeah.
And so, they're gonna do Hemalurgy shit to bring Kelsier back to life.
That's Secret Histories 2.
So, none of that explains anything about Mistborn Era 2.
No. Not a damn thing.
Read this whole book. I kept waiting for them to be like, when are we gonna jump to Mistborn Era 2? And it never came.
Yeah. No, that's going to be its own thing, I'm sure.
Isathris says, my take on the way Vin says what she does is that she's trying to get Kelsier to understand himself better and why he does what he does. Oh, yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
It's an interesting perspective for Vin to take because she doesn't know what Kelsier's been through in the time since. It's information that's so based on the last time she saw him, even though she's grown so much since then.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
He's a ghost. How much can he really grow? You know?
I mean, he was temporarily God, so...
Yeah. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cryptic says, I would want this to be read between eras. Well, nothing we can do about that now.
Yeah. Some people say you should read this after everyone. Yeah, I get it. It's weird.
Yeah, I get it.
We're trying to follow publication order as well.
And also, like, it would have meant that we would have kept waiting for Kelsier to show up in the first Era 2 books.
True.
Like, we would have been like, where's Kelsier? What the fuck is he doing?
True. I think it actually, would have changed our experience.
We would have been like, wait, what did Lesabornis and Kelsier do? I agree with what the mods ended up choosing.
Yeah.
I do agree. Because I would have been like, what is Kelsier doing? Especially, like, once Marsh showed up.
It's a good point.
Because, honestly, Era 2 already has too many Era 1 people in it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely fair.
No, I think it worked out. I agree with Brandon Sanderson. I think that this novella is messy and imperfect.
But it's fun.
But it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's some really interesting tidbits in it.
Yeah.
And trying to understand the cognitive realm will break my brain.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Figure that out.
Like, I think that all of those things are true. And I think that, it's one of those weird things where I agree with what Brandon Sanderson says about it in the postscript. He kind of gave the cleanest review of it.
Yeah.
Like, he wanted this out.
He's very honest with himself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that, like, I find that very commendable for an author to be like, look, guys, I know. Put it on anyway. It was fun. We had a good time. I love that for us.
And also, like, here's the thing. I have very low expectations of books when they're shorter. We said this during Stormlight, right? Like, it is easier for me to give a positive review to a Mistborn Era 2 book that I think is imperfect than a Stormlight book that I think is imperfect, because it's a third of the length.
Yeah.
And so it's not as much of my life put in.
Commitment.
And so, like, I'm not going to lie. We started this on Thursday. We finished it Thursday night. I was able to get through this in 3 hours.
Yeah.
And so I was able to have a lot of fun in 3 hours with this.
Yeah.
In a way that, like, if a Stormlight book was this messy, I would give it a significantly less good review, because it would be 20 hours of my life.
Yeah.
And
you'd
I just have more expectation. Yeah.
Be confused about the cognitive realm. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I hear you. This was a lot of fun. I agree. I'm actually kind of glad we read it where we did.
Yeah.
Although I can see the argument for reading it either way for sure.
1000%.
It's just going to be up to personal preference. But we've got questions
to
get
do.
To over in our little Discord. If you're not in the
books recap. We're recapping 2 books here.
If you're not in the Discord, it is the best place to keep up with all the content, all of the bullshit that we do.
It's the other place we really announce things. We're really bad because we don't like using Twitter anymore, which used to be the way we announce things.
I know, we should be better, at least on Instagram, announcing that kind of stuff. We're not. I'm so sorry. It is what it is. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Here we go. There's not a lot of questions, thank God. Alamancer Jack asks, now do you understand why Harmony thought the Basonites were underdeveloped? What with the Southerners and the aliens? Yes, I do.
What, the Basonites?
Yeah, the people who live in the basin.
Oh.
Where Luthadel is?
Oh.
Or no, where Elendel is?
Yeah, I was like, I'm sorry, what? Yeah. Yeah. Where is their flying ships? They don't even have radio.
It doesn't change my issue with him saying where a society should be. But other than that, yes. I do get it. I get what he's saying.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I still can't believe we're doing aliens.
I know.
We'll get there when we get there. It's fine.
I don't know how I feel about it yet. Mm-hmm. It has been a weird ride. I sometimes grow tired of the Cosmere. And which is tough because I like Brandon Sanderson's writing a lot.
Oh, for sure. I think we're gonna have a nice little break coming back in May.
Yeah.
And I think that we just work in more breaks because there's other books that we want to read as well. Because it's a lot to take in, and honestly, I'm gonna need to start re-audiobooking some of these books because it's been so long since Mistborn Era 1 that there are connections that I'm like, what?
I don't mean that I'm tired of reading the Cosmere series.
Oh.
I'm saying that I would like to read a Brandon Sanderson book that isn't as burdened by all of it.
Oh, sure.
Because I do like his writing. I just find that now the books are starting to feel very rooted in...
Emperor's Soul felt separate, right?
Oh, Emperor's Soul's great, right? And Alloy of Law. Really liked Alloy of Law.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, I would love a Brandon Sanderson book that doesn't need to do all this.
Yeah.
That doesn't need to be and then in the middle Hoid shows up to be part of this for no reason.
Yeah. I hear you.
And so I just I feel I'm a little worried because it feels that that's happening more, but none of the books want to explain why the Cosmere stuff matters. They just want to tease it. And I think that it's weird book edging where it's just teasing it. It's the stuff is happening in the Cosmere, and I'm like, oh, does it matter? No, it's not relevant to any of the plots. It's just that we just need to keep telling you stuff is happening.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I feel so polarized because on one hand, I kind of love the Cosmere of it all, being how all these things connect and the bigger picture, the scale of it all, I think is fascinating. I think it's really cool that Brandon Sanderson has been able to conceptualize this on the scale that he has. But sometimes I am exhausted by it at the same time. Both of those things are true. So, I think that I am excited to read some more of the stuff that he has that is standalone. But at the same time, I am so excited to get back to fucking Rhythm of War.
Yeah, me too.
Like, and I'm like, because I'm like.
Well, no, I want to get back with Kaladin and Adolin and all that.
Yeah, and so that's why I feel so polarized about the Cosmere of it all.
And like, what's going on with Odium?
But it is very impressive for certain. I
just really hope that Stormlight Archive. I hope in Rhythm of War, it isn't like, hey, we've got to go to war with Odium, but also aliens are showing up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need. I would like to see the fight with Odium.
Yeah.
I don't need there to be another thing from another planet show up in that, because the Odium thing is interesting enough on its own, and it feels big enough on its own. Like, I don't need Thanos to show up and be like, we're going to put the war with Odium on pause because we have to team up with Odium to fight. I don't need that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I don't think that's where this is going, thankfully. Belazriel asks, what instrument do each of our main characters play in the Band of Mourning?
Oh, interesting.
Well, fucking Wayne plays the goddamn triangle.
What?
What?
Why
Wayne?
the triangle?
Because he's fucking useless.
No, he plays the drums.
Why?
Because he uses dueling canes.
Oh, hilarious. Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay, no, I can do this. Wayne plays the drums.
Okay.
Wax plays lead guitar. Steris plays keys. Marcy plays rhythm.
I was gonna say
and rhythm guitar, and
I was gonna say
Milan plays bass.
Sings. Oh, I was gonna say what's her face plays bass. The gun lady.
Renette?
Renette.
No, Renette's the roadie. Renette runs the tech.
Great.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay.
No, Milan is the bass.
Yeah, okay.
Milan has big bass girl vibes.
Okay, I get that.
But I think that's correct. In like a traditional rock band, like if you do like bass, rhythm, lead, keys, and drums.
Yeah.
I think that would be the right order.
I think that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And Wayne and Marcy, I think, both sing.
I could totally see that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The two guitarists, it makes sense.
Guitarists?
Yeah, Wax and Marcy both sing.
Oh, okay.
The two guitarists.
It's like,
Yeah.
Cool.
Marcy sings more because she plays rhythm guitar. Wax does a lot of the harmonies because he plays lead.
Yeah.
And does the guitar solos.
Yeah.
Milan plays xylophone on her own ribs. I dig that.
Yeah, fair.
Pilk's book recap for Arzu says, if you could use a coin to give yourself any 2 ferochemical abilities, which would they be? Healing.
Well, no,
I stubbed my shit so much.
Yeah, but you have to feel like shit to store up healing.
No, with the coins you don't, right?
That.
Someone else does it, and I just have it.
Okay, someone else is storing it up. That's true. If someone else is storing it up, yeah, having the healing ability.
Isn't sleep one? Can't you like store sleep? Because I'm already an insomniac and I don't sleep, like I could like store sleep and then force myself to sleep, which would be good. Because I'm already staying up so much.
Yeah, you make yourself sleep.
Yeah, I would do sleep.
Hilarious.
And healing probably.
That's so funny.
There's not a lot of other ferochemical abilities that I like want in my life. Like I don't want to like store my memories. I understand the usefulness of it in a magical world. That is not really useful to me in the real world.
I feel like it'd be useful for me for book club, to be honest.
No, but it doesn't make you smarter.
No.
It just means that you put them out somewhere else and then you can take them out later.
But then I'm like, oh, right, this is what happened in the book. Because sometimes I forget. I forget everything that I say on camera. Although I guess technically I have a video. I could just go watch the things I say if I really needed to.
Cryptic says senses, so you can store hearing to deal with loud noises. The problem is that the physical damage from the loud noise would still happen to your eardrum, right? Storing it wouldn't save you from the physical damage of ear protection, which is why you should all buy loops. Not a sponsor, just something I've been wearing a lot lately, and they are awesome. I've been getting a slight amount of tinnitus in my left ear as I'm getting older. It's very infrequent right now. And so I've started to wear loops when I go to parties and stuff. Mm-hmm. And they are great. I love them.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. Cars bought me them. And I genuinely, not a sponsor. They've never given us anything for free. Just big fan.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the sleep one would be super useful.
Storing heat for Canadian winters.
Fair. I actually think that the sleep one would be super useful. Mm-hmm. being like, this is when I can sleep and this is when I need to be awake. Like, I think that's just basically a fucking cheat code. You know what I mean? I can sleep on the plane.
You can.
Well, no, but like, you know.
Oh, if I could knock myself out.
Yeah, sleep on the plane. You're fully awake for when you land, and you're good to go. Like, I think that would be my, like, number one.
Stone Sinew says you could put embarrassing memories in a coppermine that you don't want to keep remembering. The problem is I have acknowledged all my embarrassing memories on the internet, and so you all would remember them and I wouldn't. And then you could bring them up without me knowing about them. And then I would be embarrassed again. And so it's better for me to just know them so that I can keep my shields up.
I do also think, though, that is a trap because our memories are what make us who we are. And so if you forget parts of yourself and things that have happened throughout your life, like, you're not the same person. And that concept is terrifying to me. And so I actually wouldn't really want to store away any of my memories.
Yeah. Scuff Dandy says, do you think Mistwraiths survived the apocalypse?
Yeah, they seem like cockroaches, you know what I mean? Like, they're just like goo.
They're only really spoken about as... they're not seen, though, right? They're sort of spoken about as not being around anymore.
Maybe, that's true.
So I don't think they did. I think that the Khandra did. Because when Milan is turning into one, that is surprising to our main cast.
Maybe Mistwraiths found their own, like, underground cavern or island or something, and they're
Oh, there's an island of Mistwraiths? That's possible.
They're
like Sazed moved them away from the population?
They're, like, becoming sentient slowly over time in their own way.
Oh, that's interesting. I like that.
Well, just because, you know, like, having the Khandra not be able to reproduce, like, is tough, and having them survive on in a different way that's separate but still relevant would be kind of beautiful.
Judican is there. Thank you for that super chat. Do you have a theory as to why Harmony didn't help the Malwish? Personally, I think since he preserved the people part of the basin, part of him had to ruin something else per his two Shardic intents. That makes sense. I assumed the Malwish didn't need to be helped because they seem fine.
No, Kelsier had to help them, otherwise they would have died. Remember?
Right, that was after.
Yeah.
Oh, I understand. Right, no, you're right. I think you're right, Judican Azaris. That makes sense.
And I think that it was so early on with the power that Sazed didn't know how to balance them properly.
Yeah.
And so he went all in and all out with one thing,
as
opposed to finding a middle ground with everybody.
But I like the having to ruin, having to preserve at the same time thing. I think that is...
what I mean to say is that now that he's held the power for longer, I think that if this apocalypse had happened now, like later on, he would have been able to find a balance of not completely ruining one to completely preserve the other, but finding more of a...
so that he could incentivize colonialism.
Yeah, exactly.
The book posits that society is better when you colonize places. That is what Mistborn Era 2 is attempting to say.
It says that we definitely progress
without colonialism,
faster.
We don't get better.
Sure.
If Roshar and Scadrial were to go to war, which side comes out on top? Roshar.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Again, I know I keep harping on this. The people of Scadrial have never fought a war. It's not about what powers you have.
It's about battle tactics.
I don't care how strong you are with Allomancy. Military might is partially in the growth of strategy over time and being able to adapt as the battlefield moves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can't just bring together people who have never fought a war and beat experienced soldiers in a war.
Yeah, and y'all are guns over spearmen, which look, I understand, but there have been so many instances in history where an undermanned army, an supplied army has come out on top because of strategy.
Yeah. We also thought that we were going to win Vietnam because we were the superior, or not we, obviously the Americans. And guess what? They got their asses kicked by holes in the ground. Not that is making it seem like the Viet Cong and
that's trivializing it a little bit. Yeah.
I don't mean to demean them because what they accomplished was fucking incredible. You you have to understand that strategy is such a huge part of this. And the Radiants, like Kaladin would be running around with fucking an army of immortal boys doing heinous shit where you shoot them and they're fine.
You also
as long as they're breathing in Stormlight.
You also have a society with a certain level of technological advancements that I think that they would get a hold of a gun and be like, oh, yeah, I can do that with a fucking spren.
Navani would build a gun in like 3 days.
Yeah.
And then she'd be like, no, the scientist did it.
I only funded it. It's fine.
Like, I just don't think that you can undermine what being at war constantly does for your military leader's ability to adapt to new situations, right? Like, the Rosharans adapted to
they can make food out of rocks. Yeah.
Really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Rosharans don't need supply lines.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the Scadrial people would still need supply lines. And they don't have any, like, really... They don't have a base to build anything from.
Yeah.
They have guns at, like, a municipal level. But they don't have an army of guns.
Yeah, it's not the United States where they are buying tanks and, like, arming their police officers with, like, ridiculous weapons.
And you would have Radiants that can just raise the earth out of the ground to block bullets. You have sharp play. Like, I understand that Scadrial has guns, but they just don't have a military.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really, like, the linchpin.
Yeah. And, like, can you imagine, like, trying to shoot Windrunners out of the sky? Half of your ammunition's gonna miss. The other, more than half your ammunition's gonna miss. What does hit doesn't matter, because they can breathe fucking lightning into their bodies and heal themselves. You're gonna lose.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Scafandi also asks, how would you have used Hoid in this book? In which book? I'm assuming, because this is questions for both.
Hoid is in this book.
This is questions for Shadows of Self and...
for Bands of Mourning.
Bands of Mourning.
But Hoid is in the book. Hoid is in both of those books. In Shadows of Self, he's the carriage driver for...
oh, yeah.
For Wax. And then in Bands of Mourning, he gives them the coin. And then in... Yeah. Roshar also wins by sheer numbers. That's true, too, _.
Yeah, true.
I mean, Scadrial has the, like, flying ship technology, but, like, the fucking Windrunners are going to destroy those ships.
Yeah.
Those ships aren't going to fucking mean a thing in a war with Roshar.
Yeah.
Hoid is in all of those books, so I don't know.
I'm assuming because
I would make him more interesting.
I'm assuming because he's barely there in Shadows of Self that this question is for Shadows of Self, and maybe I'm wrong.
Here's the thing, I wouldn't put him in the book more.
I know.
I would take him out. He doesn't have a place, because he doesn't have a perspective on it. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would give him a less relevant... I think that Hoid is at his best in Oathbringer because it feels like he gives a shit about Shallan. And him just being there doing stuff to move the plot forward, when I don't understand his perspective on it, isn't as interesting to me as the book just being the book.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you're asking how have you used Hoid in this book, I would have had him, like, care. Like, I would have actually, like, tried to understand what his perspective is and why he's doing what he's doing and why he's only interfering as much as he is. Like, I would have used Hoid for a more why. Like, I'm like, why? Why is he here? Why is he doing what he's doing? I think it's the best way to answer that question.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
I'm on the same page. What is
turn
this?
off streamer mode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Early Anne says, if Steris had a bag of holding, would she fill it? Oh, my God. It would be, like...
It would be bursting.
You wouldn't be able to close it.
Yeah.
Because she'd be prepared for everything.
Yeah. I think Steris with a bag of holding is the most, like, dangerous person.
Steris would have a ledger to keep, like, expiration dates on everything in the bag, too. You know what I mean? Like, Steris would be so prepared. She would have an Excel spreadsheet with, like, what date things were put in.
Yeah.
Every time they've been removed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn
1,000%. Early on also says, serious question about the world. First time theory. Are the metals really burned, meaning are destroyed? If so, they will eventually run out, right? Even if metals are abundant, they will eventually run out. Or like ATM, does the burned metals regrow somewhere? Oh, fuck, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, because there would be a limited amount of metal. Well, although they're burning shavings of metal. Like, the amount that they're burning is so small that, like, I feel like, yeah, the planet would run out of metal in 1,000 million years, but...
Yeah, I mean, it really depends. It feels like metal is literally the soul of this planet.
Yes.
And so...
So, like, metal from another planet might not be burnable because it might not be invested in.
Yeah, it might not be the same thing.
Because preservation does say that, like, he's too invested to leave the planet. And so it might literally be that the planet needs to have... But Piper Guy, you say asteroid harvesting to bring more metal in. I understand that, but the asteroid metal wouldn't work. Because it's not invested in, and it doesn't have it's not the soul of man.
I think that's definitely possible.
We didn't talk about it at all, but like Kelsier sees souls and metal as the same thing, which I think is fucking insane.
Yeah, well, but that's what I mean, and maybe that is a clue that metal does regrow, that it does replenish, that there has to be a certain amount of it on the planet for the planet to survive, and that's what harmony is. Harmony is that you've got the burning of it and the regrowing of it, and they have to kind of keep balanced. But
also, like, every time they're burning metal, they're burning, like, the amount of gold that we put in Goldschlager. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's... I think that's... That you still have to replenish that
metal doesn't get destroyed, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting that metals and souls are the same, like, they see them as the same, so I think that kind of means that
it's got to be that planet's metal.
They will be eternal, yeah.
I don't think it'll regrow, though.
No? Okay.
No, I think it's used.
All right.
Or it becomes... just like how you can't, like... I think it becomes kind of like the chips from Roshar, right? Once you've used the investiture from that money, that investiture's gone.
But you can replenish it.
With new investiture? So you would have to reinvest the metal.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I guess
this is just Brandon Sanderson is doing fantasy stocks, and when you buy the dip, use the investiture, and then buy the dip again. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy the dip right now. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but if I was, I would say wait. I think it's going to drop a little bit more before it starts going back up. Question 3.
First time theory. Assume that Earth is part of the Cosmere. What shards are currently here? Greed is my guess.
Stupidity.
Yeah, I feel like the whole, like, mob mentality thing seems pretty unique to, like, there's a lot of culty shit on, maybe devotion. I feel like that leads to some culty shit.
Yeah, I do think greed is here, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do. I agree with that.
Depends on what the shards are. Like, I don't, like, there are 16 of them, and I don't actually know if greed is even one of them.
Foxtrot wrote trivialism. I don't know if they're saying trivialism or tribalism, but both work.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly think that, like, devotion, and that devotion is, like, a negative. Because we also have this, like,
But also positive. I'm devoted to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there are beautiful things about devotion. Like, I have a devotion to our audience and to our content. And
Chris gave us, like, 4 of them. Let's be real. She did not give us, like, the majority.
My eyes glazed over a little bit.
No, I just was like, oh, half of these we know, and I think there was, like, 1 or 2 new ones.
Yeah.
I think that, like serious answer that I think, like, Earth would definitely be devotion. We have this, like, we have such strong religious tendencies on this planet.
Devotion, all of them?
All of them?
Well, I mean, like, they're all gods, so isn't devotion kind of...
Yeah, but we also have the, like...
Like, isn't a devotion to Trell also a problem? We know where devotion is? Oh, we do know where devotion is. Wasn't devotion on, Warbreaker? Isn't that the shard of devotion?
I don't know.
But also, Warbreaker is a society where there are basically billionaires who have the control over everything, which is the same thing as America right now. So
close to
Warbreaker is America.
Yeah, that's pretty close, I think.
Rob Ross asks, with all of the typical Hollywood gun myths and lots of mechanics involving the physics of how guns work, how can I convince y'all to do a Mythbusters reaction? Ooh.
I mean, we do reaction commissions. That's like pretty standard.
Talk to us in May, Rob.
Yeah, when we get back.
Yeah, after Japan.
Yeah.
We will react to more stuff.
Yeah.
Johnny Coleman says, I couldn't tell. Did you like Steris as a character? Most of the time. She's only my favorite character in Mistborn Era 2.
Yeah, she's fine, whatever.
She's the best part of the series.
No big deal, whatever.
Judah Gettys, thank you for that super chat. With the commodification of metalborn powers in the Malwish technology, how do you think this will shape Scaldrian advancements in the coming decades?
Well, I think they're gonna have to rely on each other a lot more. Like, I think that if the powers didn't, like, if the crossover wasn't there, that it would be far more likely that these societies would go to war than work together. Just based on the interactions and how bad Wax is at diplomacy.
Yeah.
But I think that the fact that, like, they've got the Allomancers, but not the technology, and the other society and the Malwish have the technology, but the Allomancers are super rare, that this will be the bridge between their societies. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that it is going to significantly speed up both of their advancements because they now have the thing that they've been missing because they get it from the other society.
Yeah, I also think that they're going to move on from this technology really fast.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think that this is what new technologies do, right? Is they eventually... I think that they are going to be able to build a better life for the average person by catching people up to the technologies, right?
Yeah.
Pie Piper Guy says you haven't read yet, right? Correct? Read what? We've read a lot of books. This is year 4, Pie Piper.
Yeah, I'm not sure what...
What have we not read yet?
Oops.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I don't know. I think that there's a lot of technology that they're gonna have radios. That's sick.
Radio.
That little girl is gonna make a Magica. I don't know what a Magica is, so no. Definitely haven't read it.
No idea.
Yeah, what Wait, did a comic get deleted?
I don't think so.
But we just read it.
Did you like Steris as a character? No, we read the super chat from Judah.
Oh my god, right.
Yeah.
I think that Scaldrian advancements are going to start to... Wheel of Time Secret History. There's a Wheel of Time Secret History? What?
No, I've never heard of that.
Does Randolph Thor go to the cognitive realm?
Jesus Christ. Could you imagine if Brandon Sanderson was like, actually, the Wheel of Time is included in my Cosmere?
Yeah, then he would have to explain how Rand got the pipe through investiture.
True, yeah.
Yeah.
And we just, you know what, we can just leave that as it is.
Yeah, and should. I don't know. Scaldrian advancements. I don't know. I feel like a lot of the Malwish are going to move north.
Well, the basin has a lot of food.
But the basin also has a climate that they can survive in without magic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that, like, their inability to live in their own place is going to cause them to want to emigrate pretty fast.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that'll be an interesting thing that they have to deal with.
Yeah.
Belazriel, new to Cosmere, welcome in. If the risk of using multiple spikes for a large number of powers is that you can be controlled by Harmony, do you think any of the good guys would power up with multiple spikes? Harmony's on their side already. I mean, the Khans already do.
Yeah, for sure. I think that it really depends on how much you value, like, freedom of will. Like, even if you're on God's side and God is on your side, that little niggle in the back of your brain that goes, is this actually me or am I being controlled by somebody else? You'd never be able to get rid of that. So unless you can come to terms with the fact that you might be making decisions that are not your own, I think most people would avoid that.
I have a feeling that because of the medallions, they're not going to lean on Hemalurgy as much.
True.
Like, I think they're going to discover... I think they're going to advance the medallions. To go back to the question of the super chat, I think they're going to advance the medallions to give multiple powers and things like that. So that they can avoid Hemalurgy.
Okay.
I think that medallion technology is going to become sort of like a workaround for Hemalurgy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Piper, I think that's super duper chat.
Super chat.
My first book commission would be Imagica from Clive Barker if you haven't read it yet. Have not. So maybe later this year.
Yeah. I don't know how a full book commission would work, especially depending on how long the book is.
Yeah, but if it's really good, we will probably read it at some point on the channel. We just need to go on vacation first. We need to take a break for the first time in 5 years.
One break, please.
One break.
Please, thank you.
We're trying really hard, y'all, not to just burn out completely.
It is difficult.
Sorry if it feels like we're complaining because our job's great. I acknowledge our job's great.
It's difficult because we love it.
Yeah.
That's the kicker. Is that I love doing this. I want to do more. I'm literally like, I want to read more books. I want more book club. I want, like, there's so much that I want, but I'm only human.
But we also need to get to a point where we're not working till 1:30 in the morning every night, because it's not...
Yeah, that's all. That's the reason why it's difficult.
Running your own company is awesome for so many reasons, but there is an element of it where it's like, oh, I could be getting things done right now, and then you just start to, like...
always be getting things done.
Yeah, there's an element of working for someone else where you're like, I'm off the clock. I'm going to go relax. Mm-hmm. And I need to find a way to have a little bit of off the clockness.
I'll be your boss and I'll delegate your hours.
No.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the problem. But see, immediately,
I'm
like,
nope,
oh, no, you can't do that.
Can't do that. Yeah. No.
That's the problem.
I know.
That is 100% the problem.
Yeah.
Right there is, I literally just clenched up and went, no, you can't.
I know, I felt it.
And... that's what we need. That's what we need to figure out.
I know.
Yeah, 100%. While also acknowledging, like, we are in an amazing place, and I don't. Yeah, it's so.
Yeah. Life is funny like that. Like, it is full of contradictions for sure.
Azixa was literally watching your Soul Leveling episode 13th watch, but figured I would pause and say hi. Thank you for watching my Soul Leveling reactions. I love that show deeply. I want a Soul Leveling tattoo.
Oh damn! Okay.
I do. It's such a cool show. I love it so much.
Good.
I cannot wait for season 3. I fucking love that show.
I'm glad.
I'm watching great anime right now. Like Mob Psycho, so good. I just finished the Sabaudi Archipelago arc for One Piece. I'm sorry, I'm so ahead of the... just so that those stay consistent. I'm about halfway through season 2 of Mob Psycho, and I've just finished episode 4 or 5 of One Piece, so that videos stay consistent while we're in Japan.
Yeah.
Which is also scheduled. Part of the reason why I'm burnt out is because I burned ahead, so I'm ahead by like a month and a half on my One Piece stuff. But
yeah, you had to be.
God, Sabaudi is so good, y'all. Nerdy Daily has some good videos coming up. I cry, I laugh, I yell. It's a good time. Yeah. I just need to. I need to not clench like that. That was wild.
I know. That's why I said it, and I felt it, and I was like, damn. It's fine. We're figuring it out.
We're fine. We're good.
One last throwing this out there, y'all. In case you skipped the beginning of book club because we ramble a lot, book club will be moving to the Nerdy Wordy Book Club channel.
Yes.
Gonna throw that in here.
Podcast is moving, y'all.
Once or twice more throughout this. We're gonna put it in the Discord. We're gonna put it on all our socials. That's where book club will be because YouTube hates when you have different things on the same channel. Fuck you, YouTube. You suck. So we are moving that.
YouTube also allows us to make money.
Look, it's fine. It's just it's really frustrating. So if you're not subscribed to the Nerdy Wordy Book Club YouTube channel, please go do that. All right, we got one more question.
Kidal 1978 says, do you remember your prediction regarding Kelsier from the Final Empire? Does Claris feel vindicated? Does anyone know what they're talking about? Because I don't remember your prediction.
Do you remember your prediction? No, that was a year ago.
Does anyone remember Claris's prediction from Final Empire?
He does, like, I need clips.
Does anyone have a clip that we can pull up? Because none of us know what you're talking about.
Literally no idea what I said. I don't know what I said yesterday.
Do you feel vindicated?
I feel yeah. I do not have a gun named Vindication, but I feel like we should have a gun named Vindication on our set. You know what I mean?
When we move and we have a set again.
Oh, yeah.
The plan was to push all this forward and, like, put stuff behind us, but we don't think that's going to happen at this house anymore because we probably have to move.
We have to leave this house because it floods every time it rains. We were up until...
We don't have a D&D set anymore because it flooded, so...
Yeah, we were up until 3:30 in the morning the other night mopping. We filled, like, 7 buckets full of water. Yeah. It's probably also why I got sick.
Judy Kennedy says it was that if Kelsier was alive, he would be bad.
He would be bad.
I mean, he's not, though. He is alive, and he's still doing good.
Oh, dies a hero or lives long enough to become a villain.
But he's not a villain.
Well, we haven't seen the end of his life yet, so...
Yeah, but, I mean, he went and saved the Malwish. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard for me to be like, yeah, Kelsier's such a bad guy. He went and saved the Malwish.
We haven't got to Mistborn Era 3 yet.
Yeah. He might be the villain in Mistborn Era 3. That would feel weird now, though.
I know. Yeah, I don't know.
He was a good guy for fucking 350 years, and then in Century 4, he was like...
Here's the thing. I think that Kelsier definitely could have become a villain if he had not held Preservation's power. I think that's got to change a person and give you a perspective that you might never have reached on your own.
Yeah.
And so that one's a little weird to me, but I do think that matters.
Unless he, like, killed a baby for that spike that's in his eye. Because he has the one spike. That spike has to come from something. So maybe he kills a baby.
Maybe.
Baby killer Kelsier.
Jesus Christ. Who knows?
Do you feel vindicated?
No.
That you called that Kelsier was going to be a baby killer?
Yeah, I called it word for word, actually.
Baby buffet!
Jeez.
I don't know what's with me and eating babies.
Yeah, stop doing that.
It's a weird... They're so tender. The meat, it's just so fresh.
It's so weird.
God.
I
think that's book club, y'all.
I was like, that's a joke that doesn't make sense unless you've watched our D&D stuff, and if you haven't, then you're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I know, but I made so many... I'm like, it's my... like shorthand for this character is
this
evil.
Character is bad because they eat babies.
Well, but it started because Brian... This is spoilers for Astral Dusk, a show that may continue. We hope to finish it. I don't know.
Well, we don't have a set anymore.
We don't have a set anymore. Yeah, sorry. Roleplay Relay kind of got fucked by the flood. So...
Yeah, so until we can move, we're not actually sure if...
we can film in person.
Do that stuff. So, yeah, we have to move.
Thankfully, the technology mostly survived. Just we lost some of our sound paneling and our rug, and just some stuff got wet. Our very nice foam beanbag chair might be moldy.
It's fine.
Yeah. We had a rough week. We had a really rough week.
We have to move again, and that feels really fucking bad.
Yeah, because we like this house.
I put a lot of effort into this place.
Yeah. Anyway, enough complaining. Brian didn't want to kill the hag, and I kind of established that you guys couldn't leave unless you killed the hag, and so I insinuated that the hag ate babies to try and give him enough of a justification to kill the hag, and it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, well, whatever. Anyway. That's book club. We're leaving for a month.
Wild.
When we return, book club will return better than ever. Yeah. The audio is going to be stronger.
It's going to look a little different.
Pandora, we're going to miss you guys too. We're going to keep posting videos.
It's going to be so weird.
We just, if we can go live from Japan, we might.
Who
knows? We might do like a Fourth Wing live there.
We would really like to try and do a live stream spoiler chat once Wheel of Time season 3 is over. So
whether that's from Japan or whether that's when we get back, that we don't know yet.
Yes. I mean, so we're gonna see if it is possible to go live in Japan, because we're gonna miss you guys. We're very excited for our vacation, but also, like, again, I said we love doing this. It brings us a lot of joy. And it's going to be really hard to give that up for an entire month. So we're going to see what we can do.
But when we come back on the Nerdy Wordy Book Club channel, I expect a lot more. Just realistically, like, obviously, like, the main crew of the show, we love you all. And thank you so much for being here every week, no matter what. But this show has been slowly sliding away on YouTube. Our podcast numbers are still great. And so thank you to everyone who listens to the podcast feed. But when we come back, we want to grow this. We don't want this to be a place that gets smaller over time. We want this to be a place that flourishes. And so the Nerdy Wordy Book Club channel will be our baby in May and June. And I'm really excited. I'm excited to commit harder to this rather than just kind of do it every week because we love doing it. Yeah. I want to, genuinely, like, I want to put more into book club. Mm-hmm. And so the show might change a little bit. We might have a few more segments. We might do that. Me Monk, yes, we are going to read Crucial's Chosen when we just get back because we love that.
Schedule is TBD. There's going to be a lot of stuff we're juggling in the first week of May when we are back.
I don't think Book Club will come back till mid-May.
Oh, Book Club. Oh, okay.
We might do like a full book recap of like Fourth Wing or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think new reading will happen until we can build the new set and...
Yeah, I think that's fair. Because we land back on...
the 3rd.
Which is a Saturday. Well, that gives us, almost a full week until...
I know, but...
I don't
let's
know.
Anticipate that between... Let's anticipate that between jet lag and having to get our taxes done, that it'll be like it won't be like the 8th of May, it'll be like the 15th of May we'll return. You know what I mean?
Yeah, unless, we do some kind of recap on the 9th or something that's not new reading.
We're supposed to do a full book recap of Kushiel's Dart.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that.
Might have to reread the book.
So much reading.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you all so much. Do you want to do a high-low of Secret History?
Sure.
All right. You know what the deal is. Hi. Clarus, what is it?
Okay. Damn, I hadn't actually thought about this.
Shocked.
Let's do opposites today. You do your high.
Okay. Oh God, our camera's all over the place today. I don't know what's going on. High is... I really liked the Fuzz and Kelsier relationship. I thought that was my favorite part of it, the way that it changed Kelsier's intuition around what was going on with Fuzz and how their relationship grew up until the last moment where Fuzz kind of like gives him permission to take over. I think that was my favorite part of the book. It was hard to talk about on book club because it's sort of this weird nebulous thing that happens. But I really enjoyed that, and I thought it was well done. Yeah,
I agree. I think my low... Man. I think my low is that I am definitely confused.
About the Cosmere?
Yeah. And I'm not saying that is like a negative, but I'm just saying it's my low.
Fair.
Because I'm like,
yeah.
What's your low?
I thought it tried to be a little too funny too fast after Kelsier's death.
Yeah.
I honestly I think that the same energy, but with Kelsier just be more desperate and sad almost, would have worked for me just as well. I didn't hate it. I just, right from the top of the book, it was like jokes. And it's not that they weren't funny. It's just that it felt weird to me that it was funny.
Yeah.
And it just, tonally I felt a little bit off right after Kelsier died.
Yeah.
What was your high?
My high, I think, is that although this was obviously deeply integrated into Mistborn Era 1, it didn't change anything.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It just shed a different light on certain events as opposed to rewriting them or changing them. And I really appreciated that. I was very worried that this would try and change or undercut that. Like, I was very worried. And I was pleasantly surprised that this is kind of its own separate thing despite it being deeply ingrained into Mistborn Era 1. And I thought that balance was actually really well handled. Yeah, so I'm going to say that's my high, yeah.
Cool. Well, if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on a podcast feed, rate us 5 stars and leave a review. It's the fastest way to grow the show. Help us out. Do all the dang things that you can to help us because we are going to be gone for a month and a half and all of our algorithms are going to get really weird.
Yeah, it's going to be funky.
Help us save our show. No, you know what? I honestly think it's going to be for the best. I think a soft algorithm reset plus a little bit of a saving of our burnout is going to be the best for the content in the long term.
Yeah, for sure. And this is a silly thing, but if you do see any of our videos in the recommendeds, and you want to give it a click, you don't have to watch the whole thing, but I think that's been the weirdest eye-opening thing is people being like, yeah, even though I watch all your shit and I'm subscribed to you, I'm not getting that push from YouTube. So hopefully we can prove to YouTube that we are worth recommending again.
Yeah. And that we will stop losing subscribers when we post book clubs.
Sure. Yeah.
Which is what's happening. And yeah, so we'll be back in a bit on the other channel. Go subscribe there. If you want to stay for Smut Club, stay. If you don't, bye. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.
I mean, Fuzz has so many holes halfway through this book for Kelsier to stick his dick in. He just has there's so many different ways. Like, there's places on his body that you can't usually fuck.
Do you think that, like, Kelsier tried... Because, look, Kelsier was trapped in that room for so long. Do you think he tried to stick his dick in the Well of Ascension?
Was Kelsier the first person to fuck a perpendicularity?
Maybe. I mean, Hoid might have done it already, to be honest. But I think that... I think it's totally possible.
Yeah. Bye. Thanks, mods.